Peace, 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 everybody. Can you hear me? Peace, peace, peace. Can you hear me? Put one in the chat if you can hear me. Put one in the chat if you can hear me. Let's see. Let's see if everybody can hear me. Let me see. All right, I'm getting ones. Okay, we about to start in like 1 more minute. We're gonna give it like 1 or 2 more minutes for people to get in here, and then we're gonna get started. Shout out to everybody in the building. Okay, family, we about to get started. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure you're liking the channel. Make sure you're sharing the video. Making sure you're giving it high points. Make sure you're doing everything you possibly can. High points, sharing the video, fire emojis. Make sure you hitting that reaction heart. If you send Jules, make sure you comment, I sent Jules, so people know, so I can know that. Because again, StreamYard and the regular YouTube chat that I can see from what my end doesn't notify me. So make sure you're doing that so I can see you and I can salute you. Also, PayPal, Cash App, if you want to donate and support the stream that way, much appreciated. Go subscribe to my second channel. You can see the link is in the description. I'm not in the description box. It's in the description box, but it's also in the pinned comment. You know, everything. You know, you can help me reach my goals. Super thanks, super chat, super gift. I take it all. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to Mackenzie. Shout out to Benevolence. Let me see. You gotta help me learn how to say your name, bro. Because I don't know what this name is supposed to say. 906. I'm just gonna call you 906 until I figure something out. All right. Because I keep forgetting to look your name up. Future A Free. Thank you. Thank you for the participation. You said just say AZ. All right, cool. I got you, AZ. I got you. Family, we got to start off the video today with a very, very, very sad topic. Very sad topic. For all you don't know, that Chinese dude who killed Cyrus, Carmack-Belton, just got found not guilty. This is a repeat of what happened to the young sister. I forgot her name. I don't want to. Her name is not Latoya. I think it's Letitia. What happened to Letitia in LA long time ago? Shout out to Fahima in the building. But yeah, we got to start off this the show with that. You want to be called Low or you want to be called AZ? Let me know. All right. Well, yeah, let's get started. I'm not going to show the video of the brother getting chased down. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show the video right here of them talking about the case. So we about to watch that right now. Shout out to everybody in the building. We about to watch the video of the brother breaking down what actually happened.
So Cyrus walked into that store, red hoodie, small pocket in the front, black backpack. And he walks in and he immediately is asked by the co-owner, Alice Chow, to remove his backpack. That's store policy. Cyrus complies, does exactly what he's asked to do. He puts that backpack on the cooler and begins to walk around and browse throughout the store. He goes aisle to aisle, browsing, looking around, looking at the candy, looking at water, looking at other things in the store. And Alice is directly behind him, watching everything that he does. When he walks to the front of the store, she watches. When he walks to the side of the store, she watches. She leans against posts and watches everything that he's doing as he walks through that store. Their adult son Andy is working the counter, and he's watching as well. And as other customers come in to buy things, he'll service them and continue to watch Cyrus as he walks through the store. Finally, Cyrus walks to that back right corner of the store. And again, we know this to be true because of that intricate camera system that Mr. Chow installed. He walks to the back. He opens a water cooler, leans the water cooler against his left shoulder, and takes out 4 bottles of water. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And after a second, he pauses and methodically puts all 4 water bottles back into that cooler. 1, 2, 3, and 4. He closes the cooler and begins to walk back towards the front of the store. And it's at that point that the verbal confrontation begins. And I say confrontation because Cyrus said nothing. The co-owner of the store, Alice Chow, asked if he needed help and eventually accused him of stealing water, told him to empty his pockets. The adult son, Andy, who was watching, said the same thing. You took some water. Give us back the water. Cyrus.
Damn it. The audio cut out again. Oh my God, this thing is pissing me off. What I said right now, family, was this. That do you need help is racist. Like when people actually need help, they're never there to help you. When they see you really need help when you go to these stores, and you need help, they don't help you. You call for help, they act like they don't hear you. But if you don't need help, they always in your face asking, do you need help? That's just to initiate conflict with you. That do you need help?
Said, I took nothing. I didn't take anything. I didn't take anything. And they continued to verbally attack him, accusing him of stealing water. Interestingly enough, if you look at that intricate camera system, Cyrus is telling the truth. He took nothing from that store that day. As he tried to walk out of the store, they continued to verbally harass him to the point where he took his backpack and calmly walked out of the store. Again, we know that to be true because of that intricate camera system that Shaiki Rick Chow installed. And as he walks toward that door, the co-owner, Alice Chow, says something in Cantonese that makes her son run around the counter towards Cyrus. And then Shaiki Rick Chow, the defendant in this case, comes from out of an office in the convenience store, armed with a .45 caliber Glock pistol, and follows Cyrus out of that store. Cyrus walks out of the store, takes a right, slowly, and hears them yelling, running after him, turns to see, and again, the camera system shows these things, and he takes off running. Cyrus tries to run through the parking lot to the point to where he runs out of his Air Force One Nike shoe, runs out of his shoe, doesn't turn around to pick it up because you have an adult male running behind you with a .45 caliber Glock pistol who has falsely accused you of stealing. So he runs. He drops 2 cell phones out of his pocket. We know this to be true because there are witnesses who we expect you'll hear from who'll talk about how they had to throw on brakes to keep from hitting them as they ran across traffic. We know this to be true because of that intricate camera system that he installed. He drops 2 cell phones. One belonged to him, one to his mother. Doesn't turn around to pick up one of those cell phones. Continues to run, falls down, gets back up running, falls again, busts his shin, drops the backpack, keeps running. In total, Shaiki Rick Chow and his son chased Cyrus Carmack-Belton over 130 yards off of their property onto a public road in Columbia, South Carolina. And eventually, after Cyrus fell a couple of times, Shaiki Rick Chow fired the fatal shot, which ended his life. Folks, 130 yards is a football field. No, in fact, it's a football field goalpost to goalpost plus 10 yards.
All right, that ended it right there. I don't have another video, but shout out to everybody in the building. Jimmy, I didn't know if he had a weapon or not, but even if he did, so what? He didn't. That wasn't against the law. It's not like he pulled a gun on somebody or did something. They chased him, which is illegal. They accused him of stealing when it's obvious to a duck. They can see on their camera system that he didn't steal anything. They chased him for 130 yards. That's like the guy just said a football field. That's a football field, more than a football field. They chased him for that whole time, a bunch of them with the guns, chasing him down, and shot him in the back. Shot him in the back. Imagine shooting somebody in the back, running away from you and thinking that you can claim any type of self-defense by trying to say, well, they had a weapon you didn't know about, a weapon that never got pulled on you. Thank you, Fahima. Yeah. It's Letitia Harden. I think that's how that last name. I think it's Harden. Yeah, she wasn't no woman. She was 15 years old. 15-year-old girl got shot over orange juice that she didn't even steal. And they let that lady go too. They always do this. They always find a reason to let people go when they kill us. It's always justified when they kill us, no matter what. No matter what. No matter what happened, no matter what the black person did or didn't do, it's always justified. They wouldn't have did that to no white person. And if they did that to a white person, they would not only would the husband have been charged for shooting, the son would have been charged and the mother would have been charged. They all would have been in jail. They would have been found guilty and they all would have been doing at least 20 plus. The father would have been doing life. The son would have been doing like 20. The mother would have been doing like 20 also. If they had did this to a white person. If they had did this to a white person. Disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. I don't even want to watch the camera footage of what happened because like I can't. That's just too much. But I want to show y'all this video too. This is something I saw right here. I think this is about the dude who, in fact, yeah, this is about the dude right here. Can y'all see me? Can I see it? My screen's still. Let me see. Make sure my audio's still good. Yeah, it's still good. Let's look at this. Let's look at this.
This was his third shooting. The jury didn't get to know that, but I'm going to make sure that you know about the two previous.
Mind you, why did the jury get to know that he did that? This is his third shooting. See, you can't steal. If you stole a Snicker bar in the 3rd grade and you got killed 30 years later, the jury would know about that. If you got suspended from school, the jury would know about that. Anytime something bad happened to a black person, anything that they allegedly did bad in their life gets the jury must know about it. And then it flips it with now the black person who died is on trial. Well, we got to justify, they got to explain and try to justify why this person wasn't bad and why they didn't deserve to die. Disgusting. Exactly. FBA energy for Essence Fest and African hair braiders. I ain't seen no FBA energy for none of this. I see somebody, I saw a video with people now earlier today was at the store protesting or whatever. They're going to claim that that's FBA energy, even though nobody out there is FBA. And FBA ain't going to do nothing about it. Exactly, President Jafar. Same thing with Trayvon Martin. We knew he got suspended from school. We knew he got into a fight. We knew all this stuff that was irrelevant to what happened that night. But the jury didn't get to know that this man got a history of shooting at unarmed people. A history. Let's start this back over.
This was his third shooting. The jury didn't get to know that, but I'm going to make sure that you know about the two previous shootings before Rick Chow was found not guilty for taking the life of 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack-Belton. 2015, a woman stole beer and peanuts. Chow says that she then threatened his life and then she got in a vehicle, so he shot at that vehicle 6 times. Now, thank goodness no one was hurt, but Chow was not charged. Investigators called it self-defense. The second time was in 2018.
That's another thing. All these racist laws to redefine self-defense, like stand your ground, castle doctrine, these are all racist laws that black people were fighting against when they were first proposed, because they would just create an environment where people could shoot and kill black people and claim self-defense. And nowhere on earth can you shoot somebody in the back running away from you unarmed and then turn around and say, I had to defend myself. The only way that works is because with a redefinition of self-defense. Self-defense is self-explanatory. It does not need to be redefined. Self-defense works the same way all around the world, all throughout human history. But somehow, some way in America, we found the need to redefine self-defense. And when we redefined it, oh, look, a bunch of black people are getting killed and the people doing it are getting to walk or being found not guilty.
A man stole oven cleaner. Chow says that man then assaulted him, so he shot him twice. No charges. Self-defense. The man who stole the oven cleaner, though, he was charged in connection with that case. And then we get to 2023. That's when 14-year-old Cyrus went into a convenience store owned by Rick Chow. Chow said that he stole water. Surveillance video showed that he did not. Cyrus ran from that store, and he ran so hard during the 130-yard chase where Rick Chow was chasing him with a weapon and with his son. Cyrus, this child, ran so fast that he ran out of one of his shoes and his belongings fell out of his pocket, including a weapon. And then he was shot in the back as he was running away. Chow and his son said that Cyrus pointed that weapon at them, and that's why Chow fired. But they're the only people who say that. The other witnesses say they never saw anything in Cyrus's hand. And according to the prosecution's experts, Cyrus was shot in the back while he was running away. So how would he have been pointing a weapon that was on the ground that had fallen out of his pocket as he ran for his life?
And I don't even believe that no weapon fell out of his pocket. I believe they planted that. Like, again, like the guy talked about, you can see the front of his pockets on the video. There couldn't have been a gun in the front of his pocket. You would have saw it. So where did the gun fall from? Also, you said, remember when Hillary Clinton called black boys? At first, I think that was the 90s. Two, everybody was calling them super predators. That was the language at the time. I know you're not trying to like, because I think what you're trying to do is that you're trying to say, well, you're trying to justify people not voting for Hillary Clinton. I think that's what you're trying to do right now, and trying to make some false comparison between something Hillary Clinton said that everybody was saying at the time to Chow killing this black boy and getting away with it. I think that's what you're trying to do. I think that's what you're trying to do, and you should not do that because that makes no sense. Immaterial. Because again, both sides were saying that. Black people were saying that. You do know that the majority of black people supported the 94 crime bill, right? You do know that there was going to be a crime bill regardless, whether no matter what. And actually, the crime bill that passed was actually the best case scenario for black people, because the Republican crime bill that they had was way worse and way harsher. And again, the majority of black people at the time, the super majority of black people at the time, supported the 94 crime bill. Yeah, for sure. For sure, that was the case. So you did say that you brought Hillary Clinton into this conversation because you don't support her. Like, again, you're trying to, like, as far as I'm seeing this, you're trying to, like, I think you're trying to justify the not supporting Hillary Clinton when this don't got nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. Second, worst case, yeah, I'm getting confused. You brought Hillary Clinton up into this for what? On top of that, again, the best case scenario was the Democrats winning and the Democratic crime bill, which black people supported, which black people was begging in the street for. Like, this is the problem with people not understanding history and not putting in this proper context. Black people wanted that. The black community was a complete war zone. It turned into a war zone, by the way, because of crack that came from the Republicans with Iran-Contra. Like, I don't know why we keep doing this false equivalence between the Democrats and the Republicans. That's why we going back to Jim Crow now. That's why we about to go back to the antebellum South now. But people keep pretending like these, like it's the same thing. I gotta stop that. You gotta stop that. In fact, since I'm talking to you, yeah, we're gonna take a pause. We're gonna do this right here. We're gonna play this. This is the Speaker of the House of Alabama talking about, now that they got us back into Jim Crow, it's time to bring us back to the antebellum South.
Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from the courts, and so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those.
What would you say from your perspective? I mean, other than Mr. Pro Tem, everyone was relatively silent on the goings-on. What would you say from your perspective is the biggest misconception about what the bills do, and a message that you'd like to see out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest misconception is, the thing about it is, people tend to forget what happened when this thing went to court before. We actually, the Republican Party had that seat in, I guess, in Mobile, number 2 seat, that's the congressional seat 2, so the district 2, and so that was one of the things. There's been a push through the courts to try to overtake some of these red state seats, and that's certainly what happened in that one. And with the ruling that happened in Louisiana, we felt like it gave us a chance to maybe regain that seat, but also opened up District 7. So I think that's happened. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election. The thing is, if we did nothing was going to happen. And I applaud the governor for calling us back in and give us a chance to revisit that and look at it. And what happened here in Montgomery. And
it's all good, Mackenzie. I don't got no problem with you. I don't got no smoke with you. You good, bro? Like we all here, we learning together. I was just saying that's not cool. But I didn't know you was Canadian. If I knew you was Canadian, I wouldn't even have said all that. Because we got a bad problem with black people in America trying to justify that whole sit out of 2016, which got us to this point right now. So again, I wouldn't even have said all that if I knew you was Canadian. And also, it would, even if you wasn't Canadian, this was not meant to be a disrespect or attack on you. This is meant for me to just show something that, hey, we got to stay focused, and we cannot make the false comparisons between the Democrats and the Republicans. But yeah, no smoke to you. I mean, you good. You, I salute you. You're a part of the channel. All love.
That Senate seat probably should never happen to begin with. And so, of course, I'm at the point that probably none of it should happen to begin with. We got 3 branches of government. It's our job to legislate, to draw those district lines, and for the court to interfere with that. And to be honest with you, I thought it was a slap in our face, because we'd spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in reapportionment drawing those maps, and they let an 18-year-old kid from the university, or I don't know how old he was, maybe 19, send the map in, and they took it without consideration for what we had done. And the way that the system is set up, that's the job of the legislative body, and I think we've done it in an appropriate way, and it's disappointing that they didn't follow that rule. Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts.
Yeah, all love. I didn't disrespect you. I didn't call you no names or nothing like that, because again, I know your heart is in the right place. But yeah, let's get back to this child situation. This is Bozo.
And a lot of people want to say, well, a 14-year-old had a weapon. That's the end of the story. Not guilty for Chow. Having a weapon, no matter what age, does not automatically mean someone gets to take your life. Is it a-okay hunky-dory that a 14-year-old had a weapon? No, but that is not the end of this case. I personally do not believe that he was pointing it at Chow or his son. I believe the witnesses that were there that didn't have a relative on the line for going to prison.
Yeah, I believe the witnesses too. The witnesses said nothing about a gun. He planted that. Exactly, for Nahima. The term is from the 90s. But yeah, he planted that. I'm jacking that he planted that too. Because that's why the black attorney, the black guy who was talking in the beginning, he pointed out that you can see his front pockets on the camera. He had small pockets that you could see from the front of the camera. So if he had small pockets that you could see from the front of the camera, and Child and them said that he took a gun out of his pocket and pointed it at them, how did he do that? There was no gun in his pocket. We can clearly see that from the camera. There was no gun in the pocket. And the witnesses said they didn't see no gun. They didn't see him point anything. They didn't see a gun. They didn't even see him turn around to point at them. They just saw the shots to the back. And the forensics show that he was shot in the back. Not in the front, the back. And then magically, when the police show up, there's a gun on the scene. There's a gun on the scene. They planted that gun. That was a planned hit. They was probably looking for somebody to kill. Because as she said, this is his 3rd shooting. And he knows he's going to get off every time. So he probably said the first time he shot, because look at this, how he's getting deadlier and deadlier and deadlier. First time he shot at somebody, he missed. He didn't shoot. He ain't hit nobody. Second time, he shot at somebody, but they survived. Third time, he shot at somebody. He made sure they was dead. Like all that overzealousness for somebody allegedly stealing water, they was zealous like this because they kept getting away with it. That's why they was so emboldened to carry it like this. So emboldened. Of course, they did a sloppy job investigating the case. You got a Chinese dude who they keep letting get off for shooting black people and shooting at black people. They keep letting him get away with it. And then, oh, he killed somebody. Terrible job, sloppy. They wasn't even going to try him if it wasn't for public outcry. They was going to let him get off with just self-defense again. Self-defense again.
For this. Other people want to say, well, he may have put the water down, but he planned to steal. Planning to steal or even stealing should not be a death sentence. If he stole a bottle of water, which he did not, but even if he did, call the police, put up a sign that says this.
Yeah, we don't even need to. Matter of fact, I was about to say we don't even need to hear the rest of this because this is her just trying to talk to people, trying to reason with the unreasonable. Anybody who looks at this case and think Child was right was just an anti-black racist. That if the shoe was on the other foot, they would not feel that way. It's the same thing with the Carmelo Anthony situation in Texas. He stabbed a white boy fighting him, and the white boy died. Now everybody don't believe in self-defense no more. When you had a similar situation that happened literally in Texas in that same area where a white dude a white student stabbed a Mexican student to death, who I don't even think hit him. And he got off with a self-defense. Everybody was pro self-defense. Now magically nobody is pro self-defense. It's the same thing. It's always the same thing. Always. Like, exactly, Visionary. This is disgusting. I don't even want to keep it going, but I'm gonna have to keep it going just for the sake of completion. Because she might say something else because I ain't watch it to this point. It could possibly lead to violence. I'm pretty sure it could possibly lead to violence. And then Tariq is gonna play the I'm not a leader role. But the Tariq doesn't understand that that's not gonna fly. That's not gonna fly. If somebody get hurt, souped up on FBA rhetoric, that whole I'm not the leader and I'm not responsible for what everybody in the lineage does, that's a game he could go play by itself. Because I'm not playing that game with him, and I'm pretty sure nobody else should play that game with him. No one.
Kid stole a bottle of water, a basic necessity of life, and he's no longer allowed in this store. If a woman steals beer and peanuts, call the police. Put up a sign that says this woman stole beer and peanuts. She's not allowed in this store. If a man steals oven cleaner, put up a sign. Call the police. None of those things should be death sentences. And the fact that people are online saying, well, he intended to steal. Well, he had a weapon. You think that means a 14-year-old child should have died? I hope you'll really think about that. I just wanted to make sure everyone knows about the 2 previous shootings. The jury did not, and I have to wonder if that would have changed their opinion. But of course, since they were self-defense and Chow wasn't charged, of course the jury didn't know about it. I wonder what they'll think about it when they find out.
The funny part is, Trayvon Martin wasn't charged with none of these crimes that people kept bringing up, but the jury sure knew about it. That's another thing. That's sloppy on everybody's behalf. Everybody should have made sure the jury knew about that. All right, the prosecutor can't bring it up. Fine, we not the prosecution. We'll bring it up. They should have been on every news station, every news station, every radio station, bringing that up. That this man keeps shooting people and the police keep letting him get away with it. Yes, like this is disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, he just wanted to do this. But again, he's doing that because he has been emboldened. He was emboldened. He shot at a woman that allegedly stole. He shot a dude who allegedly stole oven cleaner. I don't even believe nobody ever stole from him. I believe he just said they stole from him. Just like when he shot Cyrus, what did he say? He stole water bottles. The camera shows he didn't steal no water bottles. So it went from he stole water bottles to, oh, I thought he stole water bottles. This dude just be making it up. He used, oh, you stole as his get out of jail free card. And to charge the other guy with stealing oven cleaner and assault after he got shot, ridiculous. Yes, the camera showed that he lied. He lied. And I don't even think he even had the camera system in those other shootings. But this, he had it in this one, and it showed that he lied. He shouldn't, if he got found guilty, he should have been straight to jail and waited for sentencing. Yeah, you know that. You know that. You know most people are like that. It's just cowardly. But yeah, we about to get off this because it's like, yeah.
Rest in peace to Cyrus Carmack-Belton. Let me know if anything in this video changed your perspective at all.
Yeah, we about to get off this. Yeah, we about to get off this topic too because it's like, this is too depressing. Shout out to everybody in the building because it's like, oh man, it's just wild. It's just wild how this keeps happening. Exactly. They could, that's what I'm saying. They always do this. They always act like the prosecution always become magically incompetent when it's time to prosecute somebody for shooting and killing a black person who did nothing wrong. Everybody magically incompetent when it's time to defend black people. Exactly. So somebody randomly walked into a gas station to steal oven cleaner. That's all he stole? Oven cleaner? A crackhead wouldn't even steal that. Because what you gonna get for oven cleaner? Oven cleaner is like what, $2? $5? What you gonna get for that? Exactly. Exactly. This is ridiculous. Exactly, Lorenzo. If this was a battlefield and that type of shooting happened, Child would be doing time and what is it, Leavenworth? He would be in prison, military prison. That's why I said, like, all these stand your ground laws, they redefine self-defense. They redefine self-defense to the point where people can do things that they couldn't, that police can't do, that soldiers can't do, that no one can do anywhere else in the world, that you can't even do in most parts of the country, but somehow, some way, they are allowed to do it there. And they are very selective with who they allow to claim self-defense. Because that's another thing with these stand your ground laws. You can tell who's going to get stand your ground and who's not based on race, based on socioeconomic status, and based on gender without even knowing the details of the case. That's how bad this is. That's how bad it is. The FBI didn't create FBA. Private white citizens created FBA, which is even worse. Because it's one thing for the government for an agency with being backed by the federal government to create something like this. Another thing for some private citizens to do it. I'm pretty sure Tariq and them didn't even cover this case. Matter of fact, they probably covered it now because it's in the news and they got an algorithm chase. But Tariq wasn't covering this case throughout the whole time, the updates and nothing like that. It is. Throwing shots like that at a gas station. He a psychopath. But yeah, let's get off this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Family, make sure you liking this video, you sharing this video, you subscribing to the channel, you hitting the bell, you doing all that good stuff. It helps out a lot. Support the channel any way you can. PayPal, Cash App, super thanks, all that is a goal. It's in the pinned comment up at the top. But yeah, matter of fact, let me see. Let us stop sharing. Now we gotta do this because the audio keeps messing up. Okay, we back now. We are back. Family, we doing this video right now. This is Phil Scott. Because somebody let me know Felipe Scott, Mexicano Phil, was on the stage with somebody from the NAACP. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, let's watch this. And Phil did an interview with the person after the fact. So yeah, let's watch this.
Have the numbers, what we can have is that solidarity, because our cause are our cause. So we all know that we want to be able to eat. You know, we should all be able to eat, to flourish, to be able to be happy in this city. And so whatever that looks like to you is what needs to be communicated to the powers that be.
Solidarity with whom? Could you describe who need to be in solidarity with? I'm confused.
For me, that's black and brown people throughout the city. Well, I'm not sure what the issue is there. If it's a numbers game, we're at the same problem. But why are we? Hey.
What's all that extra noise and sound effects to make it seem like it was bigger than what it was? Like, Phil, you brought some people there and they booed. It's obvious that the people who was booing that you showed came there with you, Phil. Obvious to a duck. Yeah, stage full of bozos. Stage full of bozos. Of course you see her up there. That's why I said like this whole event was some bozo shit. Bozo. Exactly. I'm trying to figure out what was that. But yeah, let's keep it going. Let's see what Phil got to say.
Ready?
Yeah. And you see that dumb, he said solidarity with who? Tomato. Yeah. Let's see what, let's get to this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen the panel and our brother here said one statement and boy, the crowd erupted at that point. So our brother Sean here, like, listen, I'm saying what I said to him on the panel, and that way I get him to respond. We are in a different dispensation of time, and it wasn't more so that you, because nobody know who you are, right? But it more so saw the organization, and unfortunately, you kind of caught a lot of strays.
Yeah.
So tell people about your history, because some people come to your defense. It was like, man, hold on, y'all don't know, dude. So let people know who you are, what you've done for the community, because like I said, that way people know exactly what you got going on.
100%, man. So I'm an attorney here in the city. Past 15 years, practicing wrongful death cases, civil rights cases, police misconduct cases. I fight for the people. And I fight for the people within systems that are not built for us, that have been historically racist, historically anti.
Okay, it was the Ohio Black Expo. All right, so yeah, we got some goofy stuff going on in Ohio right now. Shameful. So Ohio Black Expo.
Black, and so I am very much for the people. I don't know how to be any other way. With that, I have secured indictments against police officers. I actually have just secured a conviction against a police officer with no cameras and no witnesses, the first time in history. So
shout out to the brother for doing that. So I don't know why you even affiliating and even talking to somebody like Felipe Phil, who ain't never did nothing for black people a day in his life. That's what's make this so disgusting too. Phil doing this fake performative, oh, we don't do black and brown alliances, while you more aligned with brown than anybody else. You more aligned with brown than anybody else. You literally paid for your stepdaughter's wedding. She a whole Mexican. You paid for her wedding. You probably paid for the honeymoon. You paid for everything. You've been financing their lifestyle. I'm pretty sure your wife got her own business because you took that pro-black money and invested in her so she could chase her dreams. Because when you first started YouTube, it was obvious to a duck you ain't have a bag, Phil. I remember seeing when you used to stream from your living room. It didn't look like a big living room. It didn't look like you was having your way out here. It didn't look like that. Your situation didn't improve until you got all that pro-black YouTube money. So I'm pretty sure your wife didn't have her own business back then. And even if she did, it wasn't that big. I wonder who invested in her dreams. Sitting up here talking about, attacking the brother on stage, trying to belittle him because he talked about a political coalition and solidarity. which is what we need, because I don't know if you know this, black people are only 13% of the population. If you got every single black person in this country, man, woman, and child, to get behind a candidate, they would still lose because we only 13% of the population. The only reason black people and us have power is because we in coalition. We have political coalitions. And a coalition doesn't mean friend. It doesn't mean that you love these people. It doesn't even mean that don't have different interests. It doesn't mean any of that. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means y'all working together for a common cause. If the common cause that we work together for is just to make sure the Republicans don't win, that's good enough for me. And everything else we beef on, that's cool. Just like World War II. The Americans, the Europeans, the Allies did not bang with the Soviet Union. They were enemies, but they worked together in a coalition to defeat the Nazis. And after the Nazis was defeated, they immediately started going at each other. Immediately. Oh, I found somebody who's getting banned. But yeah, immediately. So yeah, we do have a coalition. Flavor Genuine, thank you for the fire emojis. Like, come on, man. Ridiculous. I saw somebody else who said something that I definitely want. Yeah. One mighty and strong. You hit the nail on the head. There's no black and brown alliance except for Phil's wife and family. Yeah, I know his original show was called The Advice Show. He was not having his way back then. He didn't have, you could tell by the way he dressed, the sides of his living room that he was streaming from. He didn't have no crazy bag. Like right now, as far as I know, he lived like in a mansion in somewhere in Texas right now with that pro-black money. You moved them into a mansion. You moved a Mexican single mother that you met, her and her kids, into a mansion with that pro-black money. But you sitting up here talking boo-hooing and talking against a political alliance. Doing it for clout, just a pure grifter. Do your Mexican wife know you talking like that? She probably do know you talk like that, and she probably be cracking up. She probably like Tariq's white mother-in-law. She be cracking up watching Tariq do what he do, getting all that money from you bozos, knowing he don't live that lifestyle, and knowing that it's already been exposed, but y'all still follow him anyway. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got like 100 people in the building. Yeah. It probably was a studio apartment. I don't even know if it was a studio apartment, but it didn't look big. It looked like I got a bigger living room than him right now. I tell you what, yep, Tommy Sotomayor. You said she got 6 kids? I thought she only had like 3. I thought she had like 2 or 3. She probably did. She probably had a bunch of kids. Her husband probably broke up with her. She probably divorced him or something like that. And here come Phil coming to save the day and change her life. Them kids, her ain't never going to want for nothing because Phil is a millionaire several times over. And he going to make sure he support them. He definitely does like a corrupt politician. And he moves like one too. Married a whole Mexican. Crazy. Let's get back to this.
I fought an uphill battle, man, and I've recently become president of the Columbus NAACP. And I know what I'm getting into in terms of the history behind that. What I look forward to is that, in Columbus, I have a sense of the pulse of the city and how we can move forward with a agenda that is pro-black, that's supported by other people, but that is pro-black, black-centered, black-led, all about black people, and do it in a way that builds our own power. And we need within this system, right? The system is never going to work for us. It's not built for us. We're seeing that now more than ever. But we have an opportunity to build our own system of blackness. And that's what I see the NAACP being here in Columbus, is that chance to have, committees focused on, black economic development, and to do so in a way that both explores policy, as well as how to make the system work for us in these ways, because we have that inside knowledge and the outside pressure. And so I'm trying to bring a unique, I say revolutionary approach to it. And that's who I am, what I'm about. And folks in the city know I'm about that. And around the state, so I get, like I said, I on stage I was saying, I understand what everybody's saying. I'm not saying that. I was just hoping that, they could see beyond the word to get what I was saying, as opposed to
Anybody who had two brain cells to rub together, brother, got what you were saying. You talking about solidarity and about political alliance. Like, you shouldn't even have to explain that. You're explaining it right now. You're doing a good job, but you shouldn't even have to explain that. Everybody with two brain cells to rub together should know that, hey, me talking about black and brown solidarity or coalition against racist Republicans in an election sense is not me saying, hey, everybody should go out and go marry a Mexican the same way Phil did. He's not advocating for everybody to go out and do the Phil Igbaz show. He's not advocating for everybody to turn into Felipe Scott, Mexicano Phil, Chicano Phil. He's not advocating for that. So I don't know why this bozo was pretending that's what he was doing. Shout out to Milton Allen for setting it off tonight. Yeah, you finally caught it live. I'm happy. I started to start the lives early too. So yeah, I started this one kind of early. Shout out to you, bro, for that 10. Thank you so much. Yeah, everybody, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all supporting the stream any way y'all can.
thinking that it was a fight against me as opposed to me, being on the same team.
Right. So you say it on the stage. I want to make sure he said on the stage that he wants to change the NAACP, at least this chapter, from within. So can you give me at least 2 or 3 things you say, I'm going to do this to change from within?
Yeah. So number one, changing the culture of the city and working together, right? So for each committee, I have co-chairs that are intergenerational. So I have somebody older that may be a bit more established, somebody younger that's up and coming, male, female, everybody's black. And so, but it's subject matter experts. And then on the committees, pulling in folks that have experience both inside the system and outside the system, right? Bringing us all together in a way that builds that coalition of blackness. And that's first and foremost, and building our collective power. And that to me is the thing that, really helps us develop. And then beyond that, establishing a system for us, like I said, that builds power. So within that, the people will then set the agenda. I'm not trying to set the agenda for labor and industry, for example. I think there's some things that we should focus on, like AI. We have to have an AI literacy for black people, or else we'll get left behind. But within that, I want to defer and put people together that are experts in these areas of Black Columbus, for example, right here in Columbus, Black Columbus, put them together and watch that power build. Those are a couple things right there. And intangibly, Black businesses flourishing, the public school system for Black people working, supporting that with pro-Black literacy for Black kids, to counter their fight against critical race theory, as they call it. So basically, man, just standing up Black people. And I'm in a space where I have established myself in all these different rooms, and nobody questions who I am or what I'm about. But with that, I'm hoping that we can show our power collectively, like we have not had before. The opportunity, and within the branch, I'm operating within the bylaws and Constitution. We're pushing it to the limit. So whatever the national platform is, I respect it. But here in Columbus, we need what we need for Black people, and I want this organization, to be a tool for Black people, as opposed to it being one that Black folks feel used by.
Listen, brother, you don't got to explain yourself to Felipe Phil, because I see that you trying to make your conversation seem like it's more blackity black. Like, all right, yeah, I know what the national thing is doing, but we doing this, and we trying to make sure it's black. We trying to make sure this is black, that black. Like, bro, you don't got to do that. You don't got to do that. You don't let nobody like Felipe Phil question your blackness. Because that's what he was basically doing. He basically trying to question your blackness and your commitment to Black people. You are part of Black history. If what you said is true, that you was the first person ever in this country to get a conviction against a cop with no witnesses and no body camera, you are a part of Black history. You don't got to answer to no bozo like Phil. You don't got to answer to him. What did Phil do? What is his accomplishments besides lifting Mexicans out of poverty? What did he do? Who was poor and now is rich because of Phil? I can't name none, but I can definitely name some Mexicans. I can name some Mexicans. Shout out to JB for the $4.99. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week. Thank you. You got me closer to reaching my goal. Exactly. How's Phil trying to hold anybody accountable? How is Phil trying to hold anybody accountable? Phil the Advisor Show trying to hold somebody accountable? This bozo, this dweeb? Like that made me so mad. We about to go, we got to flip for a minute. We about to flip for a minute. We about to flip for a minute. Shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all see my screen? Y'all see that picture on the screen, right? This is Phil. This is Phil right here. Yeah, this is Phil. Because his Mexican daughter-in-law is also married to a Mexican, as far as I know. So this is Phil. This is what he's doing. But yeah, let's watch this a little bit. Let's watch this a little bit. Let's watch what Hold 'em Accountable Phil is doing. That's Phil, y'all. That's Phil. Father and daughter dance. Whole Mexican. But sitting here trying to take somebody to account. Trying to G-check somebody about their blackness and what they do for the community. And acting like this person committed some type of Fox poll by saying we need a political alliance and solidarity. Yeah, there you have it, family. Like, come on, man. Who are you to question anybody, Phil? You a bozo. You a dweeb. Oh, shout out to Favorite Genuine for the $1. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week. Thank you, bro. You got me closer to my goal. But yeah, let's get back to Felipe Scott and see what he got to say. Imagine trying to hold somebody accountable who is literally from the NAACP. Oh my God, y'all can hear me? Because I'm seeing people saying mute. It must have been the audio must have cut out. This is ridiculous. Yo, StreamYard, y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better. This is ridiculous because it didn't. This be breaking my flow. This be breaking my flow. This be breaking my flow. I'm about to play it right now. Can y'all hear it?
Bye.
Well, and this has nothing to do with you,
Yeah, for sure.
but who funds anything, control it. Let me use myself for my example. Who fund me?
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard what he just said just now? Yeah, because the audio from the video be cutting out. The audio from the video be cutting out. Like sometimes I cut out, sometimes the audio from the video cut out. Nonsense. Maybe I got too much stuff running. Maybe that's it. But yeah, we back to this. Oh, shout out to you for putting the bro name in there. So we're gonna have to look him up. Sean Walton. You gotta look up Sean Walton. But as you just heard with this bozo Phil, he's talking about, oh, whoever funds you own you. And black people fund me, but you got a whole lot of people funding your organization. So the NAACP was partially started by white people. So you trying to delegitimize the NAACP because other people are putting money into it? Oh, I'm blocking you. I'm sorry. I'm blocking you. Sorry. There we go. No, he's saying he's funded. He's trying to say like he's independent, where it's like he gets all his money from black people. Because remember, all that Patreon money, all that donation money, all that money he be getting, that's all black people. So that's what he mean by I'm funded. He's talking about like I'm independent, I'm funded. I'm only funded by black people. So I'm only beholden to black people. While you're a part of the NAACP, and the NAACP takes money from white people. So like you're beholden to them. You're not independent like me. You are compromised, because that's basically what he's saying. He's accusing them of being compromised. Oh, I just missed something. Shout out to my first moderator. He in the building, Justin March. He just gifted 10 memberships. Family, if Justin March gifted you a membership, make sure you keep it going. Make sure you thank him. Make sure you keep it going. And again, if you want to make it higher, make it higher. If you got to make it lower, make it lower. But shout out to Justin March for that. Thank you. Much appreciated. Shout out to Lord of Slaughter for the fire emojis too. Yeah, but let's get back to this.
Is black people. So I'm beholden to black people. But it has nothing to do with you. But your organization is funded by many people outside the black community, and whoever fund has a say-so. So how do you are going to implement certain changes when the funding of your overall organization may be standing against you at times?
Yeah, no, and that's a real question, and that's real.
That's not a real question from Phil. First of all, because again, that's not a real question because the NAACP is what the NAACP is. Like, again, white people helped found it. So you're not going to have the NAACP as some like the Black Liberation Army. That's out. That's never going to be. So if that was your goal, you may as well just walk away now. 2, Phil, what do you mean that, other people have say? So your Mexican wife don't got no say in what you do? That's what you telling me? That Mexican wife don't got no say in what you do? Your Mexican wife don't got no say in what you do, Phil? Let me know. Inquiring minds want to know. I believe that too. I believe Phil is getting some right-wing money. He don't care. He'll get that money. Yeah, funded by Tanton. That's who started this all off. Yes, this brother needs to walk away from Phil. He needs to walk away right now. Like, just walk away from him. Walk away from Phil right now. There's no reason to even talk to Phil. You already know BYB, RBG, BYB. That's what it is. Exactly. See, a political coalition will not work. It's not going to benefit black people. What will benefit black people is us all getting married to Mexicans. Preferably Mexicans who already got Mexican kids. So we can take care of that Mexican and their kids. That's what's going to benefit the black community. That's how we help the black community. He got a press badge because he got a big YouTube channel. And again, people just be handing out anything to anybody. Anything to anybody. They all are. They all getting their 30 pieces of silver. All of them. Yeah, let's get back to this.
And I like real questions. And so I've had a black law firm in the city for 15 years fighting the system, still able to eat because I'm beholden to the people, not to anybody paying me that money. And I get paid when I win a case. And I win for black people. Everybody wins. So I take that mentality into everything I do. I have a black social club in the city, community space, community hub that I use to build blackness. And so as far as the money goes, we can raise money in ways that aren't necessarily a corporation or anything like that. And the fact of the matter is, we have to hold them accountable to donating and to giving that money without expecting anything. And so you asking that question for me is funny because it's not even an option that we are beholden to anybody else's interest in that way. I get it that nationally or whatever, there's a perception that, money controls things, and it's rightfully so. Nobody controls me. I don't owe anybody anything. I've moved in this way, beholden to the people, and that's how I'm going to operate my entire life. And so we're going to figure it out. And if we got to operate in a way where we don't have as much money as another branch because we aren't taking somebody's money to expect something, that's what it is. I mean, people develop power within ourselves. I don't care about a donor. I care about having 50 people as opposed to, $50,000. Like we'll find the power within what we're doing together as opposed to the money.
And if y'all have watched,
Exactly. Exactly. And again, I don't like this. I don't like the brother feeling like he got to answer to Phil. Phil is nobody to be asking these questions. Yeah, but benevolence. Phil is supposed to be against women with kids. What we find out that he's not actually against women with kids. He's against black women with kids. He's against black women in general. That's what a lot of these bozo gender warring black men were always about. They just hated black women. That's why all the stuff that you complain of, all of them date non-black women who represent something that they complained about black women for being. All of them. 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 Without exception. Yes, they should have done more research. Just like the reparations task force in California should have did more research. Like, come on now. Not listening to him. It's because people were just thirsty. Because remember, Phil blew up by attacking black women, following behind Tommy, and then he grifted to the pro-black stuff when that stuff blew up. And he grifted, and it was like a lightning in the bottle situation. Like if Phil had to do it over, he wouldn't have made it. Because remember, he got that. That's why he changed the name of his channel to the African Diaspora News Network or channel, because he had linked up somehow, some way, somebody from Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, somebody linked him with the Ethiopian government. That's how he got all those subscribers and everything. Got all this press credential because he got linked with the Ethiopian government. And that's probably why he's grifting FBA so hard, because I guess the Ethiopian government ain't throwing him a bag no more. Foundational Love Latinas and Phil. Yep. Oh my God. That's their new name. But Phil is kind of the exception, because he's like one of like two FBA bozos who was on that gender war and stuff that got a Latina instead of a white woman. But hey, here we go. We got to get back to this. You said you thought he was pro-black woman. I know. Oh, like that. You thought he was pro-black woman? You must have came along during the Griff era. Because it was obvious to a duck when Phil first started, he was anti-black woman to his core. And when people would call him out about it, he'll be like, well, I don't hate black women. I'm married to a black woman. He would say that. That's why Phil put a bounty on my head, because I was the one who exposed him first for being married to what he called a white woman. He was calling her a white woman. That's the funny part about it too. When Phil was describing her, when I had the conversation with Phil, he was like, oh, my wife is white. He was like a white Mexican or something like that. Yeah, hair had it hyenas. Because remember, he got it from, what's this called? What's his name? Tommy, hair had it hooligans. Then he came up with hair had it hyenas. Yeah, he was just a Tommy clone. Shout out to Future Free for the 199. Whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns any day of the week. I don't think, no, he don't got mommy issues. Phil was, if I'm not mistaken, was married to a black woman before. And they do have kids. They had kids together. And they had a bad breakup. So I think that's what drove Phil in this direction. Just like Tommy. Tommy came out with all this anti-black woman stuff after his one of his baby mamas got him locked up because she put him on child support and he wasn't paying it or something like that. Yeah, he put a bag on my head. Phil put a bag on my head before. We watched the video when people was talking about it before. Like, and he deleted that live stream because after he got exposed, he was like, yo, I want to find out who this Haven dude is or something like that. Or people was like, Haven put out the picture. I didn't put out the picture, by the way, but people thought I put out that picture. But yeah, let's get back to this. Shout out to everybody in the building.
I told our brother here, because he just stepped in this position, right? And some things that he said that people kind of erupted about. At one point in time, I thought the same way like you. I said the exact same words you said. Until later, I realized that just wasn't going to work. And so we had different stages, and that's okay. So that's why I had said to you, I said, give you 12 months, because it takes time. You can't do it. You said, I can do it in 2. No. Give you at least a year to try to implement your policies. And then we could revisit. And then, because my thing is,
Phil said he used to think the same way. Phil, you still think the same way. You are married to a Mexican woman who has Mexican kids. I don't want to hear I used to think about a black and brown coalition or black and brown solidarity. I don't want to hear nobody arguing against black and brown when you black and brown in the bed. I don't want to hear that. Black and brown in the sheets, anti-black and brown when you speak.
I always want to give black people a fair chance, right? Not just because we disagree on something, just throw you away. No, give you a chance. And then so So that's why I'm telling everybody, give the brother a chance in Columbus. But like I said, after a year, then do an audit, and then we say, okay, all right, brother, now we gave you a chance.
And I think that, we all have different tactics, different strategies. But if we have the same end game in mind, we're going to figure out how we get there. And I think every city throughout the country is going to have a different approach based on the history in the city, the dynamics and everything. And so when I was speaking to the Columbus dynamic. It doesn't change anything. It's still a very pro-Black agenda. But if I knew that that folks didn't know me in that way, I would just kept it Black because that's really what it is. But I want brown people to support us. And if they don't, they don't. It'll still be what it is. But I think that, they'll understand that, if we can all rise together, their issues will be supported, in time in their different way. But our Black agenda is our Black agenda. It'll be that, regardless of who supports us. I think in Columbus, there's opportunity for allies that do align with our vision to support us without co-opting the vision, but supporting what we're doing in our Black-led agenda.
Let me tell you what I've said on my platform. I'm not against allies, but I don't support collective groups. In other words, you can be of any community as an individual, and you ride with us, we ride with you. But I don't do wholesale collective support. And let me tell you why. Because if you look at the exit polls of every presidential election, whatever, you can see how people's political ideology align. And a lot of their ideology do not align with me and you. So
that's not true. That's not true. The majority of Latinos do not vote Republican in America. So are we looking at exit polls throughout the history of America, especially because we're looking throughout the history. And you see that slick stuff he said? Oh, I don't align with groups, but I will align with individuals. So that's how you justify being in a relationship with a whole Mexican? Because she's an individual? She's not a group. She's an individual, so it's okay. You can't make this up. No. It's spelled with a J. Because, in Spanish, the J makes an H sound. Shout out to everybody in the building. This is ridiculous, bro. Yeah, he cracked. Shout out to Naps in the building. Everybody go subscribe to Naps channel when you get the chance. Yeah, he cracked the 1 million, but the reason is because, again, all those supporters. He got mad African supporters, and he used to do big numbers back in the days. Remember, his channel died because he basically became an FBA grifter. Like a lot of Africans who was with him in the beginning, they not with him no more. They're not with him no more. Exactly. He support Trump. He's a Trump supporter. A whole Trump supporter.
That's why when people reacted that way, is you dealing with more of a crowd that do a lot of exit poll reading. They study a lot. Yeah. So certain things they know political agendas is boom. So like I said, it's not about you personally, and I'm gonna keep telling you that. Yeah. It's just about what's the current mission.
Yeah, and I get that. Yeah, and I just want people to know that even for me, it's the same mission. It's just I'm trying to speak more positively to the brown people that do align with us, knowing that a lot of them don't. Just trying to man, just say, hey, look, like you said, what you said, that we can support y'all, can support us, but not a collective thing. This is NAACP and it's for Black people. And to Black people, I say that. And when I want to, get some brown people to support us, I may say Black and brown, but, it's just, I think, like I said, a different audience, different setting. And I get why that was triggered in that setting. I don't dismiss that.
You got to dismiss that because that was stupid for people to be upset. You are the chapter president of the NAACP. What else are you supposed to say? That's one. Two, you didn't say anything wrong. Like, again, I don't like this, that we got a bozo like Phil the Advised Show thinking he can take you to task and question you when you got your own practice. Legal practice, when you out here winning lawsuits for Black people, when you out here securing convictions, when you out here actually doing the work. This bozo only show up to be around Black people when it's time to get a bag. Who is he to talk to question you in anything you said? And again, you didn't say anything wrong. I don't like this.
Whatsoever. I just don't want it to change my message. My message is the same. And that's all, man. It's just I get it. Like, we are rightfully triggered by certain things, but we think the same thing. Like, that's all.
Well, before I wrap up, I want you to do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
I want you to meet with the LULAC chapter. Okay, that's in Columbus. Do they have a LULAC chapter in Columbus?
I've heard of one in Columbus.
Okay, find the closest LULAC chapter. I want to see if you can sit down with them and see if you guys align. Because if LULAC cannot align with you and fight for the issues, because historically, LULAC said, I don't want to ally with them.
Who is LULAC? What are you talking about? Talking about historically. Like, you just making up stuff now. Like, this is crazy. So you challenging him to go find some Latino organization and say that's, well, 100 years ago, somebody who was a part of the organization said that they didn't want to work with black people. So we supposed to say, well, 100 years ago, one person said they didn't want to work with black people. 100 years ago, 50 years ago, even 20 years ago. So he's supposed to try a local chapter that ain't got nothing to do with that, who probably votes Democrat, and beef with them and talk about things not aligning. Jews are white people. So bright, don't fall for the propaganda. Jews are white people. That's a trick bag that they not white people. They are white people. They are white people. The Jews is white people. Like that's a trick bag. That whole Jews are not white stuff was started to justify doing the Jews the same way they would do other non-white people. The same way with when they started doing the Slavs are not white people. That whole, oh, you're not really a white person. White people say that to other white people to justify brutalizing them. That's a fact. Because if you believe Jews are not white people, that means you got to also believe Eastern Europeans are not white people. Because again, the same people who created that Jews are not white people nonsense are the same people who were saying Eastern Europeans are not white people. Like, don't fall for that trick bag. Exactly. They are Europeans. They are Europeans. They are white people. They don't even believe in Judaism as a religion. They are the descendants of converts. And they don't believe in a religion. Israel is like the most atheist country on earth right now. Like top 3. Top 3.
Their problems is their problems. Okay, so I would believe it when I see LULAC start partnering. Right, they're the largest Latino civil rights organization. Right, and I'm not against Latinos fighting for Latino rights. They should, but just like we should be fighting for Black American rights, FBA rights. Okay, so that's all I'm saying to you.
Yeah, for sure. And when I say,
come on, man, you said it best. We got a YouTuber pressing a lawyer about how the work he do in his city. A lawyer who, again, shout out to Sean Walton, who is a part of Black History. Black History, getting pressed by a YouTuber who's married to a Mexican who takes all that black money that he gets, because remember, like he said, I'm funded by black people, and splurges on Mexicans. How much you want to bet how much money left out of Phil's pocket that went into his wife's pocket that went to her family? How many uncles, brothers, sisters, mama, papa, grandparents done ate off some of that pro-black money coming from Phil? How many? How many? Exactly. Tomato, 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 tomato.
I want them to fight for black rights. Like, not us fighting for their rights. I want them to see our agenda, fight for our rights, knowing that as we win, they can win too on their agenda, just showing that, you know, we can support each other within that. That's all. But it's still very much our issues, our focus, and just trying to see how we can, you know, support each other.
I'm not going to lie. He did look kind of sad letting Phil, of all people, a YouTuber who's married to a Mexican, press him about black and brown issues. Like, that can't happen. Imagine a nigga pressing me about black and Asian unity. Like, I'm pushing black and Asian unity, and a nigga married to a whole Asian kind of come up to me talking about, oh, trying to challenge what I do for the black community. Insane. Insane. Exactly, Lee. Tomato, 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 tomato. A useless interview. Useless. I didn't say all Jews. I'm not talking about all Jews. When I say Jews are white people, we talking about the Ashkenazi Jews. When people try to say that they not white people, like they just cosplaying, they just look like white people, or they just cosplaying white people. No, that's out. That's out. No, the Ashkenazi Jews from Europe, those are white people. They converted to the religion. Yeah, like again, I'm gonna try to reach out to the brother. Shout out, I forgot who just told me his name. I'm gonna try to reach out to him. Like, don't ever let no bozo like that try to G check you. That's out. That's out. That's out. But anyway, shout out to Justin March in the building. I'm happy you in the building, brother, right now, because because you had emailed me earlier and I told you, yes, I definitely was gonna touch on this topic. There was no way I wasn't gonna touch on this topic. No way. Can y'all see my screen? Is my audio still good? For all you who don't know, the video came just like I knew it would come. This is FD Signifier, and he's making a video called Why I Left the Left. But you see, it says Why I Left the White Left, which I said was going to happen. I'm not going to say I said that was going to happen about him, per se. Let me take that back. But the reason why, because I did not watch this video, but I'm pretty sure the reason why he's making this video is because of Graham Platner. Graham Platner. Because he's going to talk about all the things I said. All the things I said. Yeah, so thank you, Ali. Yeah, that's his name. All the things I said. All of it. Like I told people, the white lefty is not our friend. They are our enemy. There ain't no, it's horseshoe. When it comes to anti-blackness, it's horseshoe theory with them and the Republicans. They on what accord on anti-blackness. That's why when people was challenging me, talking about, oh, Haven, you always attacking lefties. You know some of our greatest black people were lefties. And I said, they were lefties, and they all left that shit because they realized how racist they were. I said that. I said it comes a time when if you really pro-black and you on that and you doing the leftist stuff, you're eventually going to leave because that anti-blackness is going to become intolerable. And I guess it just went too far for FD Signifier. With because I'm pretty sure again this is about Platner, the guy with the Nazi tattoo on his chest. But yeah, let's watch this.
I'm putting all white leftists on timeout until further notice. I've been hanging around y'all too long, and now I have lice. And black people shouldn't get lice. That it doesn't work like that for us. Lice in America cannot survive in black hair. Y'all probably don't realize that because a lot of y'all don't be knowing shit about us, but we already off topic. And the fact that I be explaining black people shit is kind of why I have this problem in the first place. We're going to start out talking Graham Platner a little bit because he's a great framing tool for everything I want to get off my chest. I want to be really clear. I'm going to say that a lot in this video. I don't like this dude. He feels like a seasonal villain from a prestige political drama like House of Cards or Scandal or something. I'm not saying he's a Nazi, but he's at least like Hydra or Order of the Cyclops for those of you that watch Watchmen.
No, that's out. I don't jack Platner at all. I do not believe for 1 second that Platner did not know that that was a Nazi tattoo on his chest. For all you don't know, Platner had a Nazi tattoo on his chest. Probably the second most famous Nazi symbol behind the swastika, which is the Totenkopf, the death head. He had that on his chest. Mind you, it's not like you can't convince me none of the lefties who bigged him up and pushed him to this point didn't know he had that on his chest. I don't believe that. They knew he had that on his chest. They knew it. They knew he had that on his chest. And again, they thought no big deal. They thought no big deal. Because it's like, there's no way you're going to tell me the group that calls everybody a Nazi, like that was like literally like a meme in the 2010s. and now that the lefties call everybody a Nazi. They don't agree with you, you a Nazi. You say something that go against what they say, you a Nazi, you a Nazi, you a Nazi. So the group that accuses everybody of being Nazis didn't recognize a Nazi tattoo on somebody's chest. And not even that, his online history. The white lefties, they are terminally online. All they do is look up people's online history. All they do is check for people's digital footprint. So you telling me they didn't know that he made a bunch of racist statements in the past? They didn't know that? They didn't know that? They knew that. They didn't care. Just the same thing with whatever his name is, Fetterman. That bozo. Who had a whole issue where he had a situation when he pulled a gun on a black child before. Lee, you don't know about the tattoo? Matter of fact, I guess we're gonna have to find that tattoo. Give me a minute, family. I'm about to go to that right now. We're about to find that tattoo. We have to find that tattoo. Shout out to everybody in the building. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let FD Signifier talk a little bit more while I go find that tattoo.
All those years ago, he just is that guy, and it's incredibly obvious to anyone who isn't some of y'all. And this isn't just taking issue with his military service. I don't have a purity politic toward anything, really, if you know me, but definitely not ex-military people on the left. I am anti-American military. Like, I don't want to misconstrue that. But there are also Black Panthers who were ex-military. The American military spends billions of dollars marketing and propagandizing young people across this country. So I try to hold a nuanced position for how that works. But I wouldn't apply this to Platner. 4 tours and Blackwater and a Nazi tattoo is a lot. And I know that's not a hot take. I know even more moderate folks would agree with that. So I have to wonder, why and how is Platner being pushed so hard by the establishment and the online left in general?
Platner is not being pushed by the establishment. The establishment fought Platner tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. He was being pushed by your online white lefties. He was being pushed by them. Family, I found the tattoo. As you can see on your screen. Can you see it? Can you see it? That's the tattoo, Lee. Right there. Nazi tattoo. A Totenkopf. This is either the second or third most famous Nazi tattoo. Nazi symbol. It's the swastika first. You could argue the SS Thunderbolts second, and then it's the Totenkopf. It's right here, the death head, Nazi death head. He got this tattooed on his chest. They didn't know that. All these people cry about the the Democrats and their support for the wars in Middle East. Platner was like you just heard, was literally a Blackwater mercenary. That's why I told you these lefties are unprincipled. Unprincipled. Oh, I don't know how to spell Totenkopf. Just type in Nazi death head and it's going to come up. Because that's what the symbol is. Totenkopf is what it's called in German. But if you want to know what it is, just type in Nazi death head and it's going to pop right up. Yeah. Exactly. Like this is weird. He literally worked for Blackwater. He was a Blackwater mercenary. So we're going to ignore that he was a Blackwater mercenary. We're going to ignore that he got a Nazi tattoo. We're going to ignore all the racist and all the sexist stuff he said online. We're going to ignore all of that, and we're going to just we're going to still push him because he got some good economic policies. Mind you, the same people who are behind Platner are the same people who told you we can't vote for Kamala Harris because of something Joe Biden did. And that you're somehow supporting the genocide of the Palestinian people by saying, hey, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. Oh, shout out to Nick Black. Yeah, I think that's how you spell it. Totenkopf. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for that participation. Family, participate in the live. Drop comments, hit that reaction heart, donate to me if you can, all that good stuff. Like, yeah, this is disgusting. Exactly. Same thing they used to do for Fetterman. And that lady in what's her name? The lady in Arizona, the senator from Arizona, I forgot her name, who used to be a part of the Green Party. The same thing they did for Tariq, because they attacked Jasmine Crockett because she took money from somebody who's connected to somebody who's connected to APAC. But Tallarico took $50,000 from Trump's biggest donor, who is Jewish, who is pro all the bad stuff that was happening to the Palestinians. Disgusting. But yeah, let's get back to this. Wait, somebody said, let me see something. Matter of fact, wait, talking about. Shout out to Vegeta in the building. I think I just saw something from him. Wait. Yeah, I've been fed up with them. I already knew what type of time they was on. Already knew. You said this is damage control, Vegeta? It might be. Or it might not even be damage control. It could be that he's genuinely fed up with them. Because remember, we did the video before when FD Signifier was talking about the class reductionism going on with the white lefties, but he said he would still support them because it's more important to get rid of capitalism first. That's more important. Getting rid of capitalism is more important. That's why he would still support them. So I guess he just finally got fed up and he can't support them no more. He just can't support them no more. The white Jew don't got Semitic DNA. But yeah, let's get back to this. Oh, look, the Bernie Bros. Who could have predicted this? The Bernie Bros are behind Platner. The people when people were rightly pointing out that these were a bunch of racists, they didn't like black people. The only reason they support Bernie Sanders and not Donald Trump is because Bernie Sanders got better policies than Donald Trump. And then lo and behold, Bernie Sanders lose the primary. They all turn out and go vote for Trump. And tell people don't vote for Hillary Clinton. Who could have saw that coming? Somebody said the video is muted. You said the video is muted? Oh my God, bro. Oh my. This is crazy. Insane. I'm tired of this. Lord have mercy.
Works. But I wouldn't apply this to Platner. 4 tours and Blackwater and a Nazi tattoo is a lot. And I know that's not a hot take. I know even more moderate folks would agree with that. So I have to wonder, why and how is Platner being pushed so hard by the establishment and the online left in general? Platner is the latest project out of the Fight Agency. The Fight Agency is a political consultancy that was started by some ex-Bernie Sanders, ex-John Fetterman folks. And in recent years, they've been behind the success.
Can y'all hear it now? Y'all hear it now, right? Yeah, good. Shout out to everybody in the building. Thanks for the participation, for letting me know that you can't hear it, because StreamYard just wants to cut audio from people. Like, oh my God. Mr. G's, you said I'm missing some context. So just let me know. What am I missing?
of Zoran Mamdani, as well as people like Dan Osborne, Bob Brooks, etc. And aside from Zoran Mamdani, you kind of see what's happening here. All we're missing is Hank Hill. Like, the main, mostly valid argument that I will get about Platner is that he's one of the few folks amongst the Democrats that vows to pull military support from Israel.
Not a single taxpayer dollar.
I wonder why the guy who got a Nazi tattoo is so anti-Israel. I wonder why.
Should be spent on arming and defending a country that commits a genocide.
And that is extremely important for Palestinian liberation. But I do have to ask, why are we being asked to not just tolerate Platner for that reason, but to see him almost as the future of the Democratic Party and maybe even the left? Why has he become the darling of the online, predominantly white left in this time frame? Why did the fight agency scout him in the first place? It's because the fight agency knows that this image of white American exceptionalism and especially masculinity is still highly valued amongst the white masses. He's doing a reskin of the Marlboro Man, or better yet, like Don Draper, Joel Miller from The Last of Us. Literally, he looks like Walter White. And I want you to remember, all of these characters were villains. And historically, it's always straight white men that fail to realize that fact about those characters. And when you're not a straight white male, you always take note of those types of fans. They may not be the worst people in the world, but there are people to observe. But the left falling for the same trick like this is not surprising when you realize that white leftists in America have never consistently had a halfway decently developed racial analysis. And this is just a historical pattern at this point. Again,
Exactly. And a historical pattern. That's why nobody should have been banging with the left to begin with. That's why I keep saying this to people. I kept saying this. These are the enemies. I've been pushing that for like over 10 years. These are the enemies. These are the enemies of black people. And you never side with the enemies of black people. They're the enemies of black people. Open enemies. Open enemies. This is not a frenemy situation. This is not, oh, we are in a coalition, but once we get the big bad out the way, we'll kill each other. It's not one of those. These are open enemies. No different than the Republicans. Virtually no different than the Republicans. I'll say that. Virtually no different. Oh, I think also too, Regina, that this new beef that FD Signifier got with Bad Empanada broke his brain. It broke him because I guess he didn't get the support that he thought he was deserving. I think that's the reason. Yeah, that might be it. Oh, shout out to Man of Tomorrow. Yeah, finally caught it live. Happy you could be in the building. Yes, ridiculous.
And shout out to a book I've been reading from Brian Koba, Hubert Harrison, The Forbidden Genius of Black Radicalism. Hubert Harrison was a lesser-known Black socialist who worked and wrote in the same eras as Booker T. Washington, Du Bois, and Garvey, and was to the left of all of them during that time, including Du Bois. But in this, he also found himself confounded by the challenge of organizing with white socialists who at the time could not see past their anti-Blackness to form effective solidarity and build a functional coalition. And this
Exactly. This has always been the case. And this is over 100 years ago. Herbert Hoover is from 100 years ago during the Harlem Renaissance. He was called the father of Black radicalism. Like, this is not something new. This has always been the case. We cannot work with these people because they are racist and they only care about class. Either they're racist or they only care about class. So that's why we can't work with them. We can never work with them.
Pattern has never stopped repeating, which is illustrated by this excerpt from Eugene Debs that's in the book. In capitalism, the Negro question is a grave one and will grow more threatening as the contradictions and complications of capitalist society multiply, Debs allowed. But this need not worry us. Let them settle the Negro question in their way if they can. We have nothing to do with it, for that is their fight. Debs here exemplified the way in which even radical white people who called for a working class revolution against capitalism could simultaneously distance themselves from the specific challenges facing the most oppressed segment of the working class. I'm bringing this up because I want to...
Exactly. That's not true, Drill Will. Garvey nor the Honorable Elijah Muhammad allied with the Ku Klux Klan. That is a lie. That is a lie that people tell to try to defame them. They never had no alliance with the Ku Klux Klan ever. That's a lie. That's a lie people tell to try to defame them. Not true. Not true at all. Never had no alliance with them.
Show that this is an infinite loop at this point. White leftists with little to no racial analytical frame can't help but censor their sensibilities, even in the face of obvious red flags, or clearly better options if they don't appeal to their aesthetics and need to censor themselves. Why have we centered Graham Platner when we have Chris Robb, who, from what I understand, is the furthest left candidate the Democrats have ever had in any political race? And he low-key still fits the gruff leftist daddy kink that so many of y'all seem to like. Another face that I haven't seen on my feed at all, and I had to get from somebody else, is Charles Booker. Booker has as progressive an agenda as you can have in mainstream politics and is in a very vulnerable red state that could use a lot more attention and support from the online left. And it's not there. Booker's not just anti-sending weapons to Israel. He's Medicare for all. He's for universal basic income, stopping data centers, decriminalizing poverty, and reparations. Is everything you can want from a mainstream politician, but he's invisible compared to Platner. I don't follow elections much unless it's local, but I have seen Platner's face a million times more than either Rob or Booker. Rob did spend some time with Hassan. Booker, he's got nothing as far as I can tell. Meanwhile, Platner has tons of interviews, Majority Report, Mehdi Hassan, New York Times. Why is this happening? Why is that viable? From my perspective and experience, a lot of white leftists understand that it's bad to be racist, but they don't actually understand why racism is bad or how it works. The absence of a critical understanding of how whiteness works is why a lot of them fall for the same trick over and over, to the point where the fight agency clearly has this type built out just for y'all. If you want to...
They not falling for nothing. That's what they about. And Drill Will is that's not a historical fact, and it wasn't strategic. See, I think you might have been getting it confused. They had a meeting. There was no alliance. They was trying to cause some type of deconfliction. And also remember, the KKK had the power. Most white people in positions of power were either part of the KKK or they were beholden to the KKK. So meeting with the KKK was like meeting with the government. They had meetings. They were not in an alliance. They didn't have no coalition. They were not working together. Garvey roasted them, and so did the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. No, they did not have no type of strategic alliance with those people. That's not true. I guess we're gonna have to do a show about that to really go over what really happened with the KKK.
Vote for Platner as an odious candidate that will help end military support to Israel, go ahead, but it should be treated as a tainted compromise for the sake of a free Palestine, not a vision for the future of the left. He should not be in our faces as much as he is. He should not have the defenders that he has that I know will show up in his comment section. He should be the online left's sneaky link that you never see in the light of day and never talk about in public. And the fact that so many white leftists don't feel this is sadly par for the course. The red flags that he has don't bother some of y'all because those red flags have never been weaponized against you. But when you're someone who's historically been targeted by this archetype, you pay attention to those patterns. You don't compromise with that. For reasons I won't get into, I've had to spend the last few weeks arguing that normalizing Nazi terminology, but wokely, is bad, and that no one on the left...
Exactly. That's something that Bosch has pushed. That's something that all these lefties push, like, oh, we can tactically use slurs. No. Like, come on now. That's out.
Should be doing it. And I've had some, not many, Not many, I want to be clear, but plenty of white leftists try to argue that nobody cares about Nazis, as if a couple of Nazis didn't just shoot up a mosque in San Diego just a few weeks ago, or the fact that that exact type of Nazi terrorism happens like every 6 to 18 months in America. And it's impossible to remain in community or struggle with people who don't seem to mind that, who always put themselves first, especially when the struggle isn't about them in the first place. And after half a decade online, I'm tired of seeing this pattern and repeating these same complaints. But the problem is that this entire space has always catered to a specific type of white guy online, and that's what it was built for and what it always probably will be. See, BreadTube emerged as a venue to rehabilitate right-wing edgelords into leftist progressives, all after the rise of the alt-right. It has always had an extremely high tolerance for what Graham Platner is, because he just like them for real. And while not every aspect of BreadTube has catered to this reformed edgelord Reddit troll archetype, it's clear that this element of the space remains influential and often sets the tone for the space. Because even if these types don't make up the largest part of our audiences, they're almost always the loudest part.
They're the largest part. I'm not jacking that. This is the people who support Platner are the online left. They are the online white left. They are that. Oh, exactly. Mighty One and Strong. They had a meeting. They were not in no alliances. It's like they was trying to cause some type of peace to get the KKK to stop, killing black people or whatever the case may be. Because it's like Tyrion Lannister said, you make peace with your enemies. That's why it's called making peace. That's not an alliance. They are not friends. They did not see eye to eye on anything. Shout out to everybody in the building. Exactly, James. Exactly, James. The moment it came to light that he had a Nazi tattoo, it's not like he used to have one and it got covered, or he had a little one like on his thigh or something and nobody knew about it. He had it on his chest. He took his shirt off. These people know him. These videos were public. These people have researched him up and down, in and out. They knew about that, but they still decided to push him anyway. And when it came to light, they hid it. And when it came to light, they still chose to back him anyway. They chose to back him anyway. They chose to back him anyway. Like, you can't make this up. They both were against racial integration, but the Nation of Islam and the UNIA was for black separation. The KKK was for segregation. Like, do we got to play the clip again when Malcolm is telling y'all about the difference between separation and segregation? They did not have. That's another thing. That's a lie that people like to tell. They both believed in the same thing. No, they did not. No, they did not. They both were. That's a half truth. Yeah, they both were against racial integration, but one was for separation while the other was for segregation. And they can and those two things can't coexist. Either you're going to have separation or you're going to have segregation. You can't have both.
Always the most online and the most active of the bunch. So let's talk about some drama for a bit. For years, I have not responded to drama publicly. And any drama from other creators whose opinions I don't care about, you haven't heard me talk about it publicly. And the reason for this is people don't care. People don't care about petty squabbles between creators that agree with each other 90% of the time. None of this is really material to any useful action toward a free Palestine or any social issue that you might care about. So rarely do I dedicate time to it in a serious sense. Some creators thrive off drama and they can't attract an audience otherwise.
And see, this is why we got the BYB. And that's why, again, we talked about it, I think it was yesterday, third wave black internationalism. We're not doing this. You keep centering Palestine. This is how we ended up in this situation to begin with. This is how you had bozos like Mark Lamont Hill talking about don't vote for Hillary Clinton because if she lose, Trump could get in there. And then next time we could come and we can use all the bad stuff he's doing to build a true leftist coalition and we can free Palestine. We not doing that. We not setting ourselves on fire to keep nobody warm. That's out. Like we keep talking about Palestine, and like all y'all solutions to free Palestine always end up with we got to deal with some anti-blackness. Oh, I get why people support Platner, because he's against sending weapons to Israel, which would help the Palestinians. But Platner's a racist. He got a Nazi tattoo. He's against black people. But yeah, but Palestine. Oh, I get why people don't want to vote for Kamala Harris because of what Joe Biden did, but that's going to mean Trump wins again. And he's going to do Project 2025, the most black policy paper in probably like the last 100 years. But yeah, but what about punishing the Democrats because of Gaza? We're not doing that. We're not doing that no more.
Guys, I am not one of those creators. So I want to apologize up front to the vast majority of people who will watch this and have no clue where this is coming from. But with that in mind, I won't be naming names. And to be clear, a lot.
Exactly. Platner was literally, not only was he did 4 tours, he also went back and joined Blackwater. So he continued to fight as a mercenary. Like that's what's so crazy about this. He continued to fight as a mercenary. That's why I told you also, these online lefties don't care about Palestine. They just use that as a way to attack the Democrats and and liberals. That's it. They use it as a way to attack establishment Democrats and liberals. They don't, and black people. They don't care about Palestine. Yeah, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Making sure y'all hitting that like button. Thank you for the fire emoji. Support with a fire emoji if you already hit the like button.
One of the things I'm going to say aren't going to be intended explicitly towards a few people, and it's more so me responding to a problem I've been seeing forever in the space as a whole. But before I even go there, let me clarify some things. I am unequivocally a supporter of a free Palestine. I see Palestine as a colonized nation, and no, I do not think Israel has a right to exist because it is an imperial project and cannot exist as anything but an imperial project. I do not even condemn Hamas. And I've had this stance on decolonization for years. If you pay attention, I don't know if this is a shocking thing to hear me say. It's only that probably if you haven't been paying attention. But a lot of y'all only, we'll get there. You cannot put limitations on how colonized people fight their.
We're not doing that. Exactly. I brought that up too. How many people have died because of U.S. aid getting cut? The death toll is already in the hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands of people. And I brought that up during the election. Like, do you hear about what Trump's saying he wants to do? You're going, so let me get this straight. Black people you want black people to deal with Project 2025. You want us to lose everything. You want Trump to come in there, still do the same stuff that he was that Joe Biden was doing, plus hurt all other amount of people around the world. We got to worry about a war with Iran, all this other extra bad stuff for the Palestinians. So everybody else got to die. Everybody else got to lose their freedoms. Everybody else got to do everything else because of the Palestinians. That doesn't make any sense, especially when we know that they're not going to be free. It'd be one thing if you was a Palestinian and you was pushing that line and you knew your people was going to be free and they were going to benefit. But we know that's not the case. We know that's not the case. That's why we know that the white lefties don't care about nobody. The white lefties don't care that Trump get in there and do all this bad stuff and hurt everybody because they accelerationists. They want Trump to go in there and do all this bad stuff, knock everything down, destroy the Democratic Party so they can now rise up and do what they're doing now, where they got all these candidates that they pushing and they're winning elections left and right. You think if Kamala Harris had won the presidency, we would have somebody like Platner right now? We would have somebody like Fetterman. We would have somebody like that lady in Arizona. You think we would have somebody like Tariq running for senator in Texas? We wouldn't. We wouldn't have none of this. That's why they was constantly pushing for people to not vote Democrat. They wanted this to happen. They wanted somebody like I said, with the bozo Mark Lamar Hill, who was saying stuff like that. Like, oh, let Trump get in there. He's gonna cause a wreck. That's gonna it's gonna break up the Democratic Party, and then we can come as lefties and put ourselves in charge of the Democratic Party, and then we can win elections, and then we can create our lefty classless utopia, or whatever the case may be. Nonsense. Killed all those people. How many people in Africa is dead right now because Trump is president? How many? Exactly. Like I always been saying, they don't care about Palestine. They don't care about them. They don't care about them. Exactly. We're not doing that. Exactly. That's all it was. And again, they don't care. They talk about Palestine, but why do you even talk about the genocide in Sudan? Exactly. Remember when what's his name? Hassan crashed out on a black person who asked him, like, y'all always talking about Palestine and stuff, but what about black people? What about Sudan? And he crashed out on them. Yes, Ebola, yeah, all of this. Disgusting. Matter of fact, we're going to see if we can find that clip of Hassan crashing out. Keep going.
Oppressors. So no, I won't condemn Hamas the same way I wouldn't condemn the Mau Mau's in Kenya, or the Nat Turner slave rebellions, or the Haitian Revolution, or the IRA in Ireland. All of these entities were called terrorists at the time of their existence by their oppressors, and all are recognized as liberation movements today, despite the ugliness those movements may have existed in. And I believe Hamas will eventually be seen in the same light. I would love if violence didn't have to occur. And there are anti-colonial movements that do happen to occur with minimal violence, but it's not fair to call any anti-colonial violence senseless, because it is a direct response to the condition that the colonized are living under. And the thing to keep in mind is that Palestinians didn't just start getting genocided by Israel on October 7, 2023. Now, I've seen people say that I've said nothing about the genocide in 3 years, and those people do not watch me. I've expressed my support for Palestine in multiple videos across multiple channels. One thing I'm really interested in with Palestine right now is because there's very obviously bad faith actors trying to involve themselves on all sides of the issue. Oh shit, it's 4,000 people in here. What the fuck? Let's talk about Palestine, motherfuckers. There are students across the country at college campuses protesting.
We're not doing this because, again, I guess he's off the Platner stuff, and now he's just going to talk about Palestine all day. We're not doing this. We are not doing this at all. Matter of fact, let's see if we can find him getting back to Platner, because, yeah, we skipping past all this Palestinian stuff. That's out. Matter of fact, shout out to everybody in the building. We about to go watch this clip right here. Is my audio good? Can y'all see me? Can y'all see me? All right, we're going to watch this. I think this is the clip.
This language in this fucking chat. Suck my fucking...
Here we go.
When it comes to black folks, you really don't want to talk about us unless it comes from voting. When is the last time you spoke about Sudan? I'm going to fucking ether you. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my fucking cock, okay? You stupid fucking radlib. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat. Fucking stupid, moronic, fucking radlib nonsense. Suck my fucking dick. Fuck you. You think you have a pass in here to fucking speak like this? Get the fuck out of here. Dumb fuck. You think I'm gonna fucking baby you? Go ahead. Go post a fucking clip about how much of a fucking white supremacist I am. Suck my dick. Annoying, dumb fuck. God damn, dude. This kind of attitude is so insanely repulsive. Like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? We're talking about fucking creating a larger, broad, people-backed movement and fucking creating solidarity. And you immediately got root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand black people. Shut the fuck up. God damn. That attitude left a long fucking time ago. It doesn't work, okay? Keep advocating for your own fucking demise then. Fucking standpoint theory ass motherfuckers. Oh my God.
Yep. He definitely, it does. Again, all the person did was ask him a question and talk about how he's not talking about Sudan and stuff. If that person said free Palestine, let's not forget free Palestine, he wouldn't have did all that. He wouldn't have did all that. He would not have done all that. You say he gets back to Platner? Good. Because, yeah, we about to fast forward past all that Palestinian stuff. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Yeah, disgusting. He did all of that. Again, and like he said, oh, that type of talk doesn't work anymore. That's one of the reasons why they hated the Democrats so much. It's one of the reasons why they hated the left liberals so much. Because they were the ones who did the identity politics. Black identity politics. They were the ones who actually catered to black people and would make sure when black people put their issues front and foremost, they would entertain that. You see what he said, right? We're not doing that no more. Why he's saying that? Because again, the Democratic Party broke because Kamala Harris lost. So now they're here to pick up the pieces. And he will not. He don't care about Africa. They don't care about no Africa. The only way they care about Africans is if Africans having a anti-Israel protest or a free Palestine protest. Then they'll talk about Africa. Otherwise than that, they don't care nothing about them. Of course, anybody would know that. But again, they don't care about that because they're accelerationists. Kamala Harris winning doesn't break the system. It doesn't give them power. Remember, as we can see right here, he's celebrating Mondani winning the mayorship for New York. You think Mondani wins this election if Kamala Harris wins the presidency? You think he even runs? Oh, thank you. Yes. So yeah, well, let's get back to that. So yeah, let's get back to that. Let's get to the 21-minute mark. Because again, we're not doing this whole Palestine. That's how we in this situation right now. What I call again, second wave black internationalists. That's how we got into this position.
Drama was on the way because I know how a lot of these people move. Especially as your voice gets more respected and grows, the thing that is happening right now, as we say all these names, right? If this manages to break containment, you can expect 55 response videos, right? And it might sound like fun right now, Dr. Ball, the marriage of hate. But as a person who's been in that crucible, in the eye of that hurricane, it's not, and people, I've seen people in the chat be like, it's about money and numbers. No, it's the frustration of having your voice distorted, of having what you mean and what you're trying to say distorted, and you literally cannot fix it. I know that a lot of these white leftists have zero shame, zero self-awareness, and zero interest in actual coalition building on this platform if it means they might have to decenter themselves. And that brings me back to Platner. Platner is popular because he's BreadTube personified. He is the former edgelord rehabilitated into the hero for oppressed people to make up for his past sins. And mind you, every piece of anti-colonial liberation theory that you will ever read will tell you that the colonized must free themselves, but don't tell that to your favorite BreadTuber or favorite BreadTube fan, because they'll swear that it's them that's the key to liberation for insert other group here. But further, Platner shows the failure of the American left presenting a principled anti-Zionist stance to a larger general public. I've noticed in my personal life and online that there's been a rise in what I'm going to describe as America First anti-Zionism. And normally when I make up a new term, I want credit for it, but please do not repeat. I'm positive there is somebody more worthy, some actual Palestinian scholar that is saying the exact same thing I'm saying. So find them and give them credit for that term. But Platner is a perfect example of what.
Exactly. The only time they talk about Africa is when South Africa went to go sue Israel. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up, Vegeta. Oh, and your block, whoever you are. We don't play like that. Not here, we don't. Exactly. But I don't even think he's even trying to really do the white savior nonsense. He's just trying to come here as the class reductionist dude. That's it. He don't care about black people. He don't even care about us enough to even try to want to be our savior. Shout out to everybody in the building. We got over 100 people in the building. Make sure y'all supporting the channel any way y'all can. Thumbs up, PayPal, Cash App, super thanks, super chat, super stickers, the jewels. We take it all over here. A whole lot of ones beat a whole lot of nuns. And if you can't support money, support with a fire emoji. Support with hitting that reaction heart button in the corner. Yes, support that way. Salute. See, Justin March. Somebody saluting you for giving them that membership, for gifting them that membership. Also, you can join the channel and get your own membership, family. But yeah, let's get back to this.
That is because while he does claim to want to stop aid from Israel, he also wants to improve military recruitment. So he is not against American imperialism like you might think, which
exactly. None of these people, all that anti-Israel talk is just anti-Semitism. Just like with it's the same from the left, the same from the right. All these right-wing people attacking Israel for quote-unquote committing a genocide. If the French were doing the same exact thing, but 1,000 times worse in Africa, they would have nothing to say. They would even be bigging it up. They're only mad because it's Jews. If you take the Jews out and have the Germans or the Italians or the Swedes do the same thing to an Arab nation, they would have no problem with America supporting it. None. That gave away the game right there. You're anti-Israel, but you're pro the military industrial complex, and you want more people to sign up for the military. So the only part of the military you don't like, the only part about America's foreign policy that you really got a problem with, and the only part of the military you really got a problem with is the part that supports Israel. I wonder why, Mr. Nazi tattoo on your chest. Exactly. That's why you got all these lefties bigging up Nick Fuentes now. Because he's turning on Trump and he's talking about how he's anti-Zionist. Of course it's proof. Again, a Blackwater mercenary killed how many people? It's not like they didn't know that. I didn't even know that till he just said that. I knew he served in the military, but I didn't know he was also a Blackwater mercenary.
Any anti-Israeli stance he holds, and that's typical of pretty much all the Democrats right now. The sad reality is that the Democratic Party and the alleged progressive leaders in America have allowed themselves to be outmaneuvered on Zionism by the likes of Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, unlike anti-Zionists on the left, are in fact obvious anti-Semites. Tucker Carlson is a crypto white supremacist who has spent years trying to normalize the Great Replacement theory, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is a former QAnon adherent who brought us Jewish space lasers and believes in blood light. Yet both are being mainstreamed in a way that I wouldn't have thought possible just a few years ago. People like Carlson and Green have infinitely more reach and influence than any of your favorite bread tubers, and thus they have been able to frontline this American first anti-Zionism, and it's become a popular position. It feels like for the first time ever, and this is a good thing, and I'll explain why in a second, anti-Zionism is a popular sentiment to hold. But anti-Zionism that is America first is letting America off the hook for its role in that genocide. I've had a lot of people, both online and in my encounters in real life, smart people say something along the lines of, Israel is controlling America. And no, the tail does not wag the dog. Israel is a settler colonial project built on genocide and mass murder. America is a settler colonial project built on genocide and mass murder, among others.
That's a fact. Israel is not controlling America. America supports Israel because that's what America wants to do. Just like America supported South Africa and Rhodesia. They wasn't controlling America. Just like America funded all the wars of recolonization by the European powers after World War II. They weren't being controlled. America wasn't being controlled by these people. America is just white supremacists. And they back in white supremacy. The end. Yes, I'm happy I'm not the only person who thought that. He wanted to use the N-word so bad, but he couldn't. He couldn't. He wanted to. That's why he could barely speak. He couldn't let it flow like he wanted to let it flow. Exactly. Israel does not control America. That's mythology. That's fake. That's just anti-Semitism. That's meant to rot your brain. Israel does not control America. They do not tell America what to do. America could destroy Israel like this by just simply saying, we don't support you no more. They don't got to lift a finger. Just like apartheid South Africa and Rhodesia fell apart. Once people withdrew their support from them, it's the same thing. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Vietnam, everywhere. Same old, same old.
The things, game recognized game. There are, of course, Zionists in American government and plenty of Zionists who are at the helm of powerful American institutions. And our current president does seem uniquely compromised in his ability to not be influenced, not just by Israel, but everyone. Like everybody gets a piece of our president. But please believe that confluence of power between Israel and Zionists in America is not some secret, mystical thing. That's just how power and capitalists have always worked. One example of this America First anti-Zionism is people often say America was forced or tricked into a war with Iran due to Israel, but this ignores the history of hostility America has had with Iran. Iran, as a sovereign, strong nation, has been able to withstand American influence and thus impedes on America's dominance of that region and the resources that Iran controls, even with Israel sitting at Iran's doorstep. And Israel, because of its Zionist nature, has always wanted to attack Iran, along with everyone else in that region for years. But for the longest, America has not allowed them to, because most American presidents fully understood that we probably can't win a war with Iran, which, if you're paying attention, is clearly correct. But that doesn't mean that we didn't desire to do the exact same thing Israel did. This is why you see so many other American politicians wanting more action from America in Iran, low-key on both sides of the aisle. America is not just allowed, but has encouraged Israel to be exactly what it is for decades at this point. It's just that this time around, Palestinians were able to show the world what is happening to them. And I want to be clear, Palestinians do not care and should not care how they get free or who in America is going to bring them to that.
You said if white supremacists control America, are in control, why did desegregation happen? Desegregation happened because the white supremacists in control wanted it to happen. Remember, LBJ was a white supremacist, but he wanted to be remembered and go down in history, so that's why he backed the civil rights movement. That's how it happened. You do know all Black progress has happened in America because a minority of people in positions of power for their own personal reasons have made it so. How do we get slavery to end? A handful of racist white people who wanted to do it because they wanted to punish the South. How do we get anything? When we desegregated the military. Why? Because too many educated, smart white people were dying in the wars. So they wanted more Black people to fill those roles. And it got too expensive to have double of everything. Remember, there's always been a battle in America between the racist white capitalists and the white nationalists. Remember when Stephen Bannon was talking to Donald Trump and said a nation is more than this economy, when Trump was talking about, yeah, we should have H-1B1 visas, all those foreigners coming in here because they bring money to America. And Steve Bannon was against it because he was just a white nationalist. That's always been the case. It's always been the case. How did the NBA get desegregated? Sports get desegregated. Did the majority of white people want that? No. But the racist white capitalists who had the bag realized, oh, I can make a bigger bag, so we're going to do it. Because at the end of the day, what did desegregation actually, how did desegregation actually take away power from white people? White people still get the majority of everything. They still got all the power. Look at Congress. How many white people are in Congress? How many white people are business owners? How many white people are elected officials all across this country? They still got all the power. All right, I think I'm about to put you on timeout, Drill Will, because now you trolling. You said now you saying that LBJ was Jewish. Bye. Put you on timeout. Come back when you get your mind right. Like, we don't do anti-Semitism over here. That's what turns your brain into soup. And the funny part about it is anti-Semitism is so stupid. That's why the Nazis lost the war. Because well, everybody who don't know this, there was no way the Nazis could have won World War II. There was no way. You know why? Because the Nazi ideology was too corrosive. It was too stupid. They had deluded themselves with so much fake anti-Semitic propaganda that they couldn't even think straight. That's why any scenario that has the Nazis winning World War II is fake. The only way the Nazis could have won World War II is to not be Nazis. Or that's why the only scenarios with the Nazis win World War II are like things where it's like the aliens invaded or the occult or stuff like that. That's the only thing that makes sense when they do stuff like that. Like, oh, the Nazis made a deal with aliens, or the Nazis made a pact with the devil. There's no way they could have won World War II, period. The only way the Nazis could have won World War II was to not be Nazis. Was to not be Nazis. That's it. The ideology was too corrosive. It was too stupid. There is no such thing as, well, the Nazis could have won if Adolf Hitler didn't do this. Or the Nazis could have won if they didn't do that. There was no decision here or there that they could have did on the battlefield that would have helped them win World War II. The only way the Nazis could have possibly been to win World War II was to not be Nazis. That's why I'm so stormed down against anti-Semitism, because it rots your brain. Exactly. That's why Truman, who was also, because for who you don't know, they said, I think it was alleged that Truman was a member of the KKK. But Truman desegregated the military. Why? Because he wanted more black people in the military. Because they realized too many white men were dying. So they needed somebody else to fill in some of those gaps. Yeah, I know. That's why they banned from the UK. Thank you. No. See, that's the thing. But the Nazis were always going to invade the Soviet Union. That's what I'm saying. The only way the Nazis could have won in World War II was to not be Nazis. Their whole ideology was them going after the Soviet Union. Like you said, they believed the Soviet Union was controlled by Jews, and they were at war with international Jewry. So if you're at war with international Jewry and the Soviet Union is controlled by the Jews, you have to attack the Soviet Union. But by attacking the Soviet Union, they could never beat the Soviet Union. So they fought a war that they couldn't win, and they lost. Because, again, they were Nazis. Their ideology was so corrosive that they could not win. They would do stuff that didn't make any sense. Like, think about it. How much manpower and resources did they waste during the Holocaust that could have been used to fight the war? But they still did the Holocaust anyway because they were Nazis. How many people, Eastern European, Slavic people who wanted to fight with Germany because they hated the communists, ended up fighting with the communists against Germany because Germany was trying to exterminate them. The Germans were trying to exterminate them. Think about this. The Ukrainians were literally the tip of the spear in the fight to push the Nazis back. The Ukrainians who had just had the Holodomor happen to them by the Soviet Union. Why did they choose to fight for that Soviet Union that did the Holodomor to them over fighting for the Nazis? Because the Nazis wanted to exterminate them. The Soviets just wanted to colonize them. The Nazis wanted to exterminate them. And they had to choose between colonization and extermination. And they chose colonization because you could come back from colonization. You can't come back from extermination. That's why the Nazis couldn't win. You can't make there were like 180 million Slavic people. You can't say, oh, these are all subhumans. We're going to kill 180 million people. You can't do it. You can't do it. But I know that was a little rant. We got off the topic. Shout out to everybody in the building. I didn't mean to go on for a little rant like that. It's just that dude pissed me off with the anti-Semitism. We don't do that, bro. Like, we're not going to let our brains get fried. Like, we're not doing that.
That point. If they get free because of a right-wing regime ushered in by Tucker Carlson decides to act on their innate hatred of Jewish people and pull support from Israel, that's an us problem. That's not a them problem. There's a great short essay from Laith Marouf. Again, I apologize if I got that wrong, where he's responding to a recent interview where Norm Finkelstein basically says exactly what I'm saying here. But Marouf comes back to reiterate that none of that is the Palestinians' concern. Marouf says literally, why is it so hard to believe that America first could actually be Israel last? So if the left, and by that, I don't just mean us here on YouTube, although we are somewhat to blame, if the left can't present a crystal clear principle stance against Zionism to combat the nationalistic and ultimately fascist version that's taking a hold everywhere, including somewhat on the left, then we're fucked and we deserve it. So again, shout out to Chris Robb and Charles Booker, I guess. I'll leave some links on how to.
So let me get this straight. So why should we care about the Palestinians? If it's okay for the Palestinians to be like, well, yeah, fascist, racists are going to take over America, but at least we're going to get free and that ain't our problem. Why should I make the Palestinian problems my problems? That don't see, this is what I'm talking about here. This is the nonsense I'm talking about. You just justified the Palestinians not caring that possibly they can get their freedom via racist white people taking over America. And we all know what racist white people would do to black people if they take over America. And that's not their problem. If they get free like that, they get free like that. That ain't their problem. So they can be stormed down for their liberation like that. But somehow, some way, we allow people to attack black people by saying, hey, we're not going to not vote Democrat. Because one, that's not going to save the Palestinians. And two, by not voting Democrat, we throw away 160 years of progress for no reason. Because it's not like we threw it away, but the Palestinians get to live. Yes. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, again, we're not going to keep centering these other people. Yeah, shout out to you, Lee. I like to be informed too. Yeah, they want black people to, that's why I keep saying, set ourselves on fire to keep them warm. Nobody got no problem with black people sacrificing themselves. Nobody got no problem, no issue with us sacrificing ourselves. But they, because mind you, if black people say if a black person came out and said, I don't care about the Palestinians, if we gotta support the genocide of the Palestinians for black people to get freedom in America, oh well. If somebody came out and said that, you would get called every name in the book. Every name in the book. They would unload on you. Mind you, black people weren't even saying that, and they were acting like black people were saying that during the 2024 election. They were acting like we were saying that when we weren't even saying that. The thing we was pushing was best, not only what was best for black people, but it was what was best for Palestinians as well. Like, imagine black people say, we don't care who die, who get hurt. We don't care as long as we live good. We don't care. We don't care. All right, the Democratic Party is doing right by black people. So if they want to kill Palestinians, so what? I'm not going against that. Like, you see how people was demanding black people to condemn Joe Biden? Joe Biden is the third best white president in the history of the United States of America for black people. And they wanted us to attack this man viciously because of something that was happening with Palestinians. But somehow Palestinians get a pass for being okay with racist white people taking over the country if it means they get free. This is the shit I'm talking about. This is the shit I'm talking about. Because, again, also, it was a lot of you black lefties calling black people, oh, y'all just want to benefit from the American empire. Because we saying, hey, we don't want the Democrats to lose. They help us. We benefit from, oh, y'all don't care about nobody else. Y'all just want to benefit off the American empire. Y'all just want to be down. And like, yo, nobody said that. Like, come on now. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Exactly. And again, James, by you saying that, they would call you every name in the book. They'll tell you selfish, you a bigot, you hateful. Oh, you just want to be down with the American empire, blah, 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 blah. But if they turn around and say that same thing against us, it make all the sense in the world because they are colonized people and they got to get free. So we don't got to get free? So we don't got to get free? Exactly, too. That's why I said third wave black internationalism. What FD signifier is doing is what I call second wave black internationalism, where you sit around and advocate for other groups of people while ignoring all their anti-blackness and downplaying it. We're not here to be repped on and stepped on and a stepping stool for other people to get into positions of power and for other people to get free while we sacrifice ourselves. We're not doing sacrificial Negro. That's out. That's a trope. That's a media trope that y'all trying to bring to life in real life. No, we're not doing that. Disrespectful. Yes, exactly. Joe Biden was great for black people, and they wanted us to just attack this man like he was nobody. Like how viciously they attack black people because we wouldn't go against Joe Biden for no reason. Yes, exactly. That's why I'm not giving FD signifier none of these white lefties who having they come to Jesus moment no pass. They're not getting no pass. They're not getting no pass. Yes, that's the funny part also. I'm happy you brought that up. They did. The Palestinians and Palestine knew Kamala Harris was the better option. It was these white lefties on the internet pretending like, oh, we got to avenge Palestine. And you know how we avenge Palestine? You know how we help Palestine? By making Kamala Harris lose and letting Donald Trump win. The Donald Trump who's responsible for October 7th. Because if you know your history, why did October 7th happen? Why did it happen? It happened because Donald Trump got into office, became president, and recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And that led to East Jerusalem being taken over. Remember, the Palestinians had three areas: East Jerusalem, Gaza, and the West Bank. They lost East Jerusalem because of Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump was forcing the Arab countries to come together and openly work with Israel with the Abraham Accords. So that's why the Palestinians Hamas did October 7th to try to break up the Abraham Accords, which led to the response that we've seen in Gaza. Exactly. I know that.
Report them in the description. But the bottom line is how we get anti-Zionism into our government is our business. If it takes hold in a way that is not good for black people, gay people, Muslims, etc., is only good for these white folks that like to act like Nazis online. At the end of the day, that's our problem, not Palestinians. And I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Exactly. You just heard him. I did not watch this video beforehand. I did not know he was gonna say that even more. But I know the black lefty. I know they talking point. So again, that's not black. So it's not Palestinians' problem that we gonna be suffering as black people. It's not their problem. But if I was to come out and say, well, Gaza is not my problem, I don't care if all the Palestinians get genocided. That ain't my problem. That ain't my problem. If we said something even akin to that, they would attack us mercilessly. And you're never gonna hear them talking about it because they don't care. They don't care. They disappoint me too.
What I want to make clear is that if you pin all the atrocities Israel is committing right now on them secretly controlling America to help them out, then you miss the fact that Israel and America's imperial interests are one and the same 99% of the time. And even seeing that as advocating for a free Palestine is short-sighted, because while Zionism couldn't function effectively without American aid, they would still be there in that region doing something horrible to those people, the same way America is doing horrible things to people all over the world right now, not just in Palestine, but in Cuba, Venezuela, Sudan, the Congo, all of these places where there are global calamities going on, comes back to us in some form or fashion. And this is not to say that Zionism doesn't have its own specific interests, or that it doesn't have nukes, or that it was not still doing Zionism before it had America's help. But understand the relationship between Israel and America is one of mutual benefit, not some type of mind control that's happening from afar. And the reason why I connect that conspiratorial framing of Zionism back to a lot of white folks, white liberals, white leftists, is because it allows them to remain virtuous and not reflect on America's own history of genocide and how they fit into it. It's a framing to allow them to still be the heroes of the day, even when they're literally the villains. It allows them, like a grand partner, to say,
hey, I might have been part of the problem, but now I'm going to be part of the solution.
And all this other shit, just ignore it. Just pay no attention to the other things that clearly say that this is not the case. In short, this is white savior shit. A lot of it. Not all of it, not everyone, but a lot of it. And I'm tired of it. And I regret the fact that it took me to submit myself to racial abuse from a bunch of crack. One thing I said years ago before any of this was serious is that once you've been around the block with so-called white allies, you recognize that they often don't care about you as much as they say they do. Again, word to Hubert Harrison, they just care that you represent a proxy for their fight against each other most of the time. They will use the premise that they're fighting for a good cause to troll other, usually white people that they don't like on Twitter. They'll literally act like Nazis, and then when people reasonably say, hey, stop that bullshit, they'll cry that they're being tone policed. And y'all are so unserious, and it's my fault for allowing that unseriousness to put me in this position to have to be like, all right, I'm good. And just one last thing, get off my chest. White leftists, I like y'all. Sometimes I love y'all. But I'm not one of y'all. And I've never been unclear about this. I don't have a white guilt savior complex. I didn't come to these politics through college. I came to them through life. I don't seek out strong fatherly male figures, my political outlook. I don't have the challenge of processing and unpacking whiteness in the imperial core like y'all do, but don't actually do the work to do. I'm not scared of losing y'all as an audience or losing access to any future or current opportunities because of any political positions I hold. And y'all would know this if you actually watch me. But like I said earlier, most of y'all don't. You just know that it's good to watch FD Signifier, but y'all motherfuckers don't watch my videos. I constantly get accused of seeking out and playing to a white audience, and low-key, that's just racist. Like, that's just racism. Sometimes it's from black haters too, like I have those, but like from y'all, it's just racism because it's hard for y'all to imagine that there is a large enough black community to make my numbers number the way they.
I think this is just him just going on and on and on and on and on. I think we don't need to hear any more of this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. Like, I don't want to hear you crying to white lefties. That's enough of that. enough of that. Shout out to everybody in the building. We moving on from this. Let's go to a lighter topic and a funnier topic. As y'all see on your screen, this is a video from Young Don Reacts. He's talking about Nick Fuentes basically declaring war on Sneako. I know some stuff was going on. I probably missed it, but I know Young Don Reacts is going to talk about it. So yeah, let's get into that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, shout out to Young Don too.
Want me as a friend? Let's see how you like the Groypers as enemies then.
Okay.
And if you see Sneako in New York, I want you to tell him on my behalf, tell him fuck you.
There it is.
Fucking brown clown.
There it is.
It's over.
Yeah.
Forget it. That's insane.
Aren't you a brown clown because like you're you're Mexican, Nick Fuentes? But hey, whatever. Brown clown.
Fucking brown clown. You see that? But here's what you need to understand. This is how you always were in his eyes. You were always a dancing monkey. You were a brown clown. You were a useful idiot. And you were a token. And you have been spent.
Yeah, let's get to that. I don't know if that music is trademarked.
Matter how many times he mocked him and made fun of him. It doesn't matter. Sneako he always tried to shoot him bail. He always just was constantly seeking his validation. And now Nick Fuentes is completely, in a very humiliating way, just said, fuck this guy. And then decided, he told all of his fans, the Groypers, he said, fuck this dude, he's a brown clown.
Wait.
Is exactly the question I would be asking myself if I was Sneako. Where did I go wrong? Is exactly the question I would be asking myself if I was Sneako's father. Truly, this guy's an embarrassment. He's so humiliating. I don't know what's wrong with him. Now, he's put himself again in a position where he is being turned on publicly by somebody who he's bent over backwards. He's been on his knees, glazing this guy, just completely sucking him off every chance he can get. It doesn't matter.
Shout out to Justin March for the 5 to help me reach my goal. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And yep, now we got Groper babble because we just dealt with the lefty babble.
Matter how many times he talked shit about Islam. It doesn't matter how many times he mocked him and made fun of him. It doesn't matter. Sneako he always tried to shoot him bail. He always just was constantly seeking his validation. And now Nick Fuentes is completely, in a very humiliating way, just said, fuck this guy. And then decided, he told all of his fans, the Groypers, he said, fuck this dude, he's a brown clown. Yeah, he said, fuck you. And then he went fully racist against him. All of that jumping up and down and all of that. Oh, he's not really racist. Oh, people, why do they care about words? Da-da-da. Nick Fuentes isn't racist. See what he does when he's done with you, when he's ready to discard you.
That's a fact. I mean, sure I like this video. Yeah, Young Don teaching. Because I didn't know about all this. I just saw that it was something happening, and I wanted to follow up with this topic because I know that him and Sneako had a little falling out because Sneako wouldn't back him and went and streamed with him. So I guess this is the continuation of that. Yeah, Sneako is a bozo. Straight bozo. Straight bozo. A weirdo. I don't know how much money he's making. He's probably a millionaire, but it ain't worth this. It ain't worth this type of humiliation. Because again, you're supposed to be this super duper Muslim, but you had a problem with DJ Academics bringing up Islam during that debate, but you ain't got no problem when people like Nick Fuentes talk down on Islam or when they disrespect your black ancestry that you tried to claim in your battle with DJ Academic. You got no problem. I think Sneako could beat up Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes looked like he's easy to beat up. Like you can tell. Like all the times you saw him outside, he can't fight. He's like this big. He's like a cat boy, or he's in love with cat boys. He can't do nothing with Sneako. He can't do nothing with Sneako. But Sneako gonna be too busy bowing and scraping to actually like to knock him out or do something to him. What? You said Sneako watched somebody clap his girl cheeks? Yeah, I guess that if that happened, that dude is definitely a walking, talking, breathing humiliation ritual. I bet you it was some white dude too. So like, hey, you know what'll be funny? You know what'll be funny? If I clap your girl's cheeks and you watch it, that'll make some good content. We could talk about how you got cucked. Ha 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 ha. Don't say that there's video. Because I'm gonna look it up to confirm it. And if it is, I'm not gonna watch it because I don't watch people's sex tapes. Because I don't do that, because it's like that's not right. Because you know, they didn't want that to get out. But whoa, if that happened, if that's true, damn. Sneako's a bozo for real, for real.
He calls you a brown clown. You're going to see that in this clip here. So anyway, let's go ahead and check this out.
I see this clip today with Sneako. What is this guy's fucking problem?
Okay.
Yesterday, Memorial Day weekend, he goes on stream.
Right.
And he goes, you know, Nick Fuentes needs to be more of a unifier. The way he treats people is really inconsistent. He trashes Candace, then he wants to do a stream. This guy needs to do this. And so I saw that clip and I was like, you know what? No big deal. That's kind of like my new motto. It's like, don't get tilted. Don't get mad. No big deal, right? I'm like, whatever. I'm on a boat. I'm hanging out with the niggas. I'm like, it's no big deal. Then today, fresh Monday, I'm watching a clip from his stream. He goes, let's look at all the different Israel critical streamers. Who's going to unify the anti-Israel movement? Nick Fuentes, 10%. Dan Bilzerian, 35%. Me, 35%. I'm like, okay. You know what?
Yo, Nick Fuentes is so gay. Oh my God, bro. Just the way how he talks. He's like, you know what?
Exactly. He's I think he is. I don't think he was dating the cat boy. I think he is the cat boy. Or they might have been two cat boys, him and the other cat boy. Yeah, America First is just the new MAGA. It's just know what it is? It's the anti-Semitic MAGA. That's it. That's the only thing different. They the anti-Semitic MAGA. That's it. The anti-Semitic MAGA. Yeah, let's get back to this.
Okay, bro. And that's fine. That's okay. I just wish he would come out and like live his truth. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck Sneako. Fuck you. I have had it up to here with Sneako. I have been tolerant. I have been far too nice.
Look at him.
I have been taken for a sucker. You don't want my friendship. You don't want me as a friend.
Right.
Let's see how you like me as an enemy. Okay, pal? I go out to New York. He doesn't want to do the collab. Then he takes a 30-minute call from Dan Kazarian.
Now, here's the thing. Both of these guys, they're terrible guys. We know this. Sneako, he's a snake. He's a liar. He's opportunistic. He monkey branches from influencer to influencer. He's constantly looking for a new father figure. It appears as if he's put in Dan Bilzerian. He's replaced Andrew Tate with Dan Bilzerian. Look at the guys that Sneako gravitates towards. They're all fucking con men and degenerates too, right? This guy, Muslim guy, supposedly. And so Sneako is not perfectly innocent. I see why Nick Fuentes ultimately is like, fuck Sneako, because he was doing some snake shit. But it's so funny where Nick Fuentes takes this, and it reveals how he truly sees Sneako. Sneako was supposed to be like a loyal dog. And now that he's done with him and he's discarded him, he's going to go full-blown racist and remind him that he's an inferior creature because of his brownness. Let's
Yes, of course he is. This is the same exact thing the left does. The difference is the left doesn't openly use racist terminology. Just like when somebody said when you watch Hassan, he wanted to say the N-word so bad, but he didn't say the N-word, but he definitely did go in on that black chatter. It's the same thing. Same thing.
take a listen.
Shitting on me. He says, I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing to do. I say, okay, I'll let it slide. I still like the guy. And then it's just an unrelenting stream of sneak dissing.
Right. Yeah.
It's almost like it's in the name, sneak dissing me. He's not a unifier. He treats people badly. He's not going to unify the movement. It's going to be this loudmouth fucking manlet Jew that's going to lead the movement.
He's talking about Dan Bilzerian. Apparently he's like 18% Jewish or some shit.
Oh, okay.
It just goes to show when you've fallen off and you have nothing else, you become a red pill conservative. This is what you do. This is the bottom of the barrel. When you have nothing else, when your all is lost, you have no talent, you have no appeal, you have been marked by society as a degenerate, as a con, as someone not to be trusted, as a bad person. That's really what it is. This is all bad people go to the right. Do you understand?
Yes, we understand. And we about to watch Sneako get cucked out. Shout out to everybody in the building. Yeah, I just looked that up. Look at Sneako. Look at Sneako. Let's.
Neon's an Indian. So basically, his life started as a cuck, and then his ex exposed him for using Adderall.
All that's not true.
And then after that,
she
came out and said he did something to her, and then it was just fucked up. And then now he's just, look at him, blackballed.
Everything he said is not true.
Neon's an Indian.
Oh, you got cucked. Let's see.
I don't think your girlfriend watching this is going to think right now.
Well, the same philosophy applies. Even if you're talking about it on a podcast, you should have the same conversation with her. I'm going to be in Dubai. I might spend time with the girl and take her out while I'm away. Yeah. Of course, I love you, and it doesn't change anything about how I view you. And I'll be back home soon, and then I'll see you soon, baby. I'll bring you some sand from the desert.
Just some sand. You could do better. I don't think your girlfriend watching.
That ain't him getting cucked. Let's see.
But it's no secret that I have a degenerate past. Around 3 years ago, when I was 21 years old, I went to a swinger party with one of my girlfriends and joked about how traumatizing it was on a podcast. I was cheating on her a lot, and I felt bad, and I thought it would make us even if we swapped with the couple.
I've seen her fuck other men, and it's just like that was. Imagine seeing the girl you love like get fucked. You love her? She's moaning pretty loud. Like I don't know.
Is that low life? Is that like the dude who be talking about basketball? That's him. What he's doing talking to Sneako? Like, dag, I didn't know all this was going on. I'll pretty much be lost through internet culture. Like, I didn't know Sneako used to do like regular content like this and talk to people like low. And where's his shoes?
I don't know. I don't do it anymore.
I think that's his name, right? That guy who be talking about basketball and stuff. Yeah, that's low. Yeah, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You said what in the Diddy? Ain't no way. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's keep going.
I don't recommend it.
It's a lot, but I think it's something everybody should do just to test.
No!
You know what?
No! And seeing how many people call me a cuck for what I thought was a funny story, you should probably not do the same.
Nah, that wasn't a funny story. You are definitely
the arrangements.
This is the problem.
Listen. The arrangements of our open relationships, like.
We're not doing that. We're not watching Cuck Boy Sneako.
But it's no secret that I have a degenerate past.
Not even Sneako. It's Cucko. It's Cucko. So we got Cucko, not even Sneako. Cucko. Dag, even Hassan reacted to this? Dag. Everybody reacted to Sneako being a cuck. This happened about 3 years ago. Damn, that's crazy. How is this guy even still relevant after getting exposed like this? I guess Young Dawn was really right. If you're a bad person and you have no talent and you washed up, just go be a right-wing influencer. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. This is crazy. So this was a thing? This was a thing. This is disgusting. Shout out to everybody still in the building. I can't believe this. Well, that just proved my point that like most of these conservative dudes is like gay or cucks. So, yeah.
When you're a bad person, this is what you do. You become conservative and you become a shill for all of this garbage, this bullshit that they're spewing, right? Take a listen.
That's the way it's going to be? Iceman used to be a nice man. Now it's on site.
That's something you don't want, right? If you're a rapper, you don't want Nick Fuentes quoting you. What does that say about Drake? Drake is there is a connection here. He's friendly with Aiden Ross. He's friendly with XQC, right? Drake he's not a part of the culture, man. He's a culture vulture. And that's why a guy like Nick Fuentes, he likes Drake.
Not young Don. Not too much on Drake. I like Drake too. Not too much on Drake. Not too much on Drake.
Now it's on site. You don't want...
That's a Drake line in case you didn't know.
Me as a friend? You don't want to collab? Oh, I'm just all about the drama? You know what? Fuck you, man. Right. Fuck you. Right. You don't want me as a friend? Let's see how you like the Groypers as enemies then.
Okay.
And if you see Sneako in New York, I want you to tell him on my behalf, tell him fuck you.
There it is.
Fucking brown clown.
There
it's over. Yeah. Forget it. That's
fucking brown clown. You see that? But here's what you need to understand. This is how you always were in his eyes. You were always a dancing monkey. You were a brown clown. You were a useful idiot. And you were a token. And you have been spent. And so that's what you've been reduced to. He didn't ever respect you. Now, again, to give Nick some credit here, though, Sneako was doing Sneako things. He was up to his little sneaky, underhanded, opportunistic bullshit. Okay, he's realized that he has extracted all that he can gain from his partnership with Nick Fuentes. This relationship is spent, and now he's on to the new shiny thing. So this is the first clip that Nick Fuentes was talking about, where Sneako was making a list of potential streamers who have the ability to unite the right and the left against Israel, right? Israel supremacy, or however he articulates it.
Yeah, I think that's enough. Shout out to Young Don. Yeah, shout out to Young Don. We don't need to hear Sneako babble, because we already know what he said. We know that he's making a list. Nick Fuentes already went over it. We don't need to hear that twice. Shout out to Young Don. Everybody go subscribe to Young Don Reacts. He's a good dude. He commented on one of my videos and he gave me some good advice. He told me like I forgot exactly what he told me. He told me something about, because I think I made a video and the way I titled it, and a bunch of FBA people watched it and was attacking me in the comment section. But if you watch the video is actually the opposite of the title. And he told me I shouldn't do that. Like just try to prove a point. Because that's what I was trying to prove a point, that like FBA people just watch my channel just to thumbs down the videos and just to argue with me in the comment section. Like I get less and less FBA people. Ever since I did that, I am getting less and less FBA people on my comments in my comment section. But yeah, shout out to Young Don. So yeah, family, what should we go to next? What we ain't touch on? What didn't we touch on? I think we didn't touch on this. Let me switch to this. For all you who don't know, this is Julius Malema. He's talking about the 300 people from Ghana who left South Africa because they was in fear of violence. Let's see what Julius Malema has to say about this. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Because Ghanaians are gone now, 300 of them. How many 300 of jobs were created after the Ghanaians have left? So it's just a myth, it's a lie, which they are using to further divide us, to perpetuate colonial divisions that were created in the past. And you say, no, I hate colonialism. I would say a student in fees must fall, we must decolonize the education, we must decolonize this, must decolonize that, but the borders must remain. The borders are actually the most practical thing that was brought about by colonialism. And you can't say you are against colonialism, but you support the borders. It's never consistent like that. The Ghana response was not necessary because it now creates an impression that we are all like that, when it is a certain section of our society that needs to be contained by law enforcement. And one Ghanaian lady was saying, you see, the problem is, and I wouldn't have taken this option. The problem is we're being beaten in front of the police and the police are not doing anything. That's the problem. And when this opportunity came for me to leave, I left because if the police can't defend me, it means the state is in agreement with the people who are beating me. So we think it was too quick. We'll still resolve this. And President of Ghana should have given us, some time to really deal with this matter, and we'll get to the bottom of it. We hope they will come back to their senses. We don't have to respond the same way they did. We need to pursue the diplomatic engagements with Ghana until we find one another. We don't think Ghana responded in a manner that really reinforces dialogue and diplomatic engagement.
Shout out to Julius Malema. He always teaching. Yeah, South Africa might be fried, man. I hope that's not the case, but yeah, South Africa looking worse and worse and worse by the day. Shout out to all the South Africans, man. Got a lot of love for all y'all South Africans, but yeah, these xenophobes is tearing y'all country apart. They tearing y'all country apart. I know it ain't all of y'all, but it's enough that it's tearing the country apart. It's tearing it apart. Y'all becoming like a pariah. Y'all becoming a pariah. Yeah, let's watch some more. Let's watch some more about this. This is crazy. Shout out to everybody in the building.
A group of Ghanaian nationals living in South Africa has been safely evacuated back to Accra. The repatriation exercise was voluntary and fully funded by the Ghanaian government amid rising xenophobic tensions in parts of South Africa. Some returnees say they initially moved in search of better economic opportunities, but now live in constant fear due to growing hostility towards foreign nationals. DW's Tuzo Kumalo reports from OR Tambo International Airport.
It's the final moment for these Ghanaians. Behind me here, as you can see, each person with their bag ready to go back to Ghana because of what they call the threats that have been made against foreign nationals here by those that are marching against undocumented foreign nationals that have given them until June the 30th to leave South Africa and leave for good. They insist that undocumented foreign nationals have entered the country illegally, and because of that, they are supposed to go back to Ghana. But now, let's just move and talk to the High Commissioner, Ghana High Commissioner here in South Africa, Benjamin Kwashi, to hear what he has to say because he's here at the airport.
The first batch of Ghanaians that have voluntarily given their names to be repatriated to Ghana are here. we have close to about 500 people here who have been processed. Unfortunately, the first batch would have to be 310 in number. So we are getting ready to move them to the OR Tambo International Airport, where we'll continue with the processes of getting them onto the next available flight to leave for Accra, Ghana. These are proud Ghanaians, proud citizens of Ghana, proud individuals who hold their heads high because they were here doing legitimate business, some documented, others undocumented. And I believe that the discourse is not about them being any problematic residents in this country. We've gone through all the processes. None of them, not even a single one of them, has been found to have any criminal record. And for me, that makes me proud. The most important thing again is that the government of Ghana has decided to listen to their call, take them back home, reintegrate them into the Ghanaian society so that together we can all fix our countries.
Based on the current situation of constant xenophobic attack or harassment from the South African people, I felt there is a need for me to go home.
I don't understand why they should leave. I don't see any point of them leaving. I don't see, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of space that are going to be felt that they left here. Already we are in a bad economy. I think that's the government's fault. It's not because of the people. I won't say the people have done anything.
Shout out to that brother, the last South African brother that they had up there. At least he got a brain in his head and realized it's not the Ghanaians' fault. Shout out to the government of Ghana for getting the people out of there who was being brutalized. Yeah, this is hurtful. This is hurtful. I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, to see black people being brutalized like this by other black people. And Benevolence asks, what is the solution? The solution for South Africa is to pay attention to who's the real enemy. Ghanaians are not your enemies. Other Africans are not your enemies. You know who your enemy is. So stand on business or just leave it alone. That's all I got to say about this. Stand on business or just leave it alone. Yeah, I saw a video like that too. And that was dumb and that's a lie. Somebody from South Africa saying that they was better under apartheid is like a black person saying that we was better under segregation. A lie. Bold-faced lie. And the person who's saying that is enjoying a standard of living that he could have never enjoyed under apartheid. Just like these other bozos. Oh, black people was better under segregation while having a standard of living they could have never reached under segregation. That's a lie. Same thing when people try to say, oh, Zimbabwe was better when it was Rhodesia. No, it wasn't. Better for who? Not for the black people. Like, this is disgusting. This is beyond disgusting. Like, so we praying for South Africa that they can really get it together. Like, these xenophobes is making everybody look bad. They making everybody look bad. This is another thing why I go so hard against FBA, because FBA want to do that here, where people feel like they need to leave America, or have governments feeling like they need to help repatriate people because FBA violence is so bad or FBA attacks are so bad. Like, I'm gonna fight to make sure it don't get like that every day, all day. That happened in South Africa. They made a mistake and deleted a 19-year-old because they thought he was a foreigner. See? Nonsense like that. Nonsense. And you're correct. They no different than FBA. No different. No different. Letting the white man do whatever he want and want to fight with other black people. Disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. And I'm not going for it. I'm not at all. But yeah, let's get to the rest of this. Let's see what's going on with this right now.
Ghana's government has repatriated the first group of its nationals living in South Africa. It follows a wave of protests against undocumented immigration. The group says it no longer felt safe in the country. Some of them say they left because of repeated harassment. Anti-immigration groups have staged demonstrations in several South African cities calling for stricter enforcement of immigration policy. Al Jazeera's Harun Mutasa has met some of the affected immigrant families in Durban.
See that woman there? She's come with her blankets and she's planning to spend another night here on the street in Durban, South Africa. This is the scenario playing out right now. You have one African country, Ghana, telling another African country, South Africa, that our citizens do not feel safe here. So we're chartering a plane and flying them out of the country for their safety. The South African government is trying to manage the situation. They're saying that they are trying to deal with issues of undocumented foreigners, and they condemn violence against foreigners and foreign-owned businesses. They also stress that most South Africans are welcoming. Only a few are anti-foreigners. But this is the scenario in this part of Durban. Foreigners who say they've been chased out of their homes by some South Africans who are telling them to leave. They're saying that you don't belong here. This is not your country. Go back home.
I'm not illegal. I'm legal. I have a paper. For 20 years, I'm using this paper. So he just punched me. That's how it happened. And in front of the police, in front of everybody, you see how he did.
And when he did that, how did that make you feel?
I'm hurt. I'm a man. I can fight myself, but the law doesn't allow me. Yes.
South Africans are saying people like...
That's disgusting, see? And I said that too. I said I got a theory that the police is letting this happen so people can take out their frustration and and keep it focused on other black people. Because if people was trying to do this against white people, the police in South Africa would have shot somebody already. It'd have shot somebody already.
You should go back home. What is your response?
Now they're talking lies. They say they want illegal people who are illegal. That the one they are fighting. But we are not illegal. We are legal with our papers, and on our papers is written we can work and study. But they come and fighting us. They're beating us. They're taking our goods. Yeah? Because he's not no one. We don't know him. He's not one of the government. The government, if they decide to say no, this paper are invalid, we're gonna take you home, we're gonna go. But he's nowhere to be found. We don't know him. So how he can stand like a civilian like me? He come and start insulting another civilian.
Thank you very much, sir. That is just one of many scenarios and stories that we are hearing here in Durban. And these are foreigners who say that some of them have the paperwork and they...
Exactly. It's not about being foreigner. It's not about being illegal. It's about that they are all black immigrants. See, this is the game. It's the game everywhere. They hate other black people. That, oh, you're a foreigner. I mean, you might be undocumented. You might be here illegally. That's just the cover story to just attack all black immigrants. The same way with FBA. Oh, we are doing what we're doing because of reparations. People are trying to steal our reparations. People are trying to stop our reparations. And it ain't the case. It's a lie. I know that. That's what I said. Like, if they was to do this against white people or any other non-black people, the police would have stepped in and went full blast on them. Full blast. But somehow they doing this to other black people in front of them, and now they don't know what to do. They can't do anything. Disgusting behavior. But we just going to keep praying for South Africa. We mainly going to pray for the black people in South Africa, the black immigrants in South Africa. We're going to pray for them to make sure that they okay. And we're going to pray that South Africa get their mind right. Because they going outside. They going outside. Like we can't, like, I don't even know what else to say. I just know one thing. I'm not going to let America get this bad. No, sir.
I can't understand why some South Africans want them to leave the country. It's an issue the government says it's trying to address, but it's certainly an indication of how tense things are in the country. Harun Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Durban.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Like that. Yeah, that was hard to watch. But I know what I'm gonna do. Something easier, something lighter. Yeah, of course. They mad at the wrong people. They mad at and it's easy to be mad at them because they see them as weaker. It's straight bully behavior. Straight bully behavior. Exactly. This is all bullying. This is bully behavior. You know who the real enemy is. It's like a little kid who getting bullied at home by their parents, so they come to school and look for little kids to bully. That's all we seeing right now. It depends on what they do. It depends. It truly depends. Like, yeah, this is disgusting. But anyway, yeah, let's get off this. Let's go to a lighter topic. Family, these are some old receipts because people have been asking me for old receipts because I got to delete some of them. So, yeah, we might as well just look at them before I delete them. This is Michi X when she was going at Tariq Nasheed about the trademark. Let's get into this. Let's get into some of these old receipts. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can y'all hear my audio? Is it good? Can y'all hear it? Let me go back to this. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to everybody in the building. Where is that? Let's start back over. Peace. My name is Haven Bullets, and today I got to do this video. Tariq did exactly what I said he was going to do, and what others said he was going to do. When responding to Michi X, he responded to her at the end of his live stream. So if you didn't watch it to the very, very, very end, you wasn't even going to see his response. Well, anyway, this is what he did. He cracked a bunch of jokes, then told a lie. Didn't tell the truth to tell a lie. And what was the truth to tell a lie? He said you can't trademark a lineage, which is true. You cannot trademark it. But the lie is FBA is not a lineage, so you can trademark that. Foundational Black American is not a lineage. It's a group that Tariq made up, and you can trademark it. In fact, the proof in the pudding that you can trademark it is that Tariq had the trademark. And the only reason she got it now is because he let it lapse. So now he got to go to court and fight for it to get it back. And if he don't go to court to fight for it to get it back, it becomes hers permanently. Yes, for all you don't know, Michi X had got the trademark for FBA, Foundational Black American, because Tariq let it lapse. That's why when somebody asked me before, do I believe that Tariq was still moving away from the grift? It was like he was starting to move away from the FBA grift. That's why he let it lapse, because he was like, all right, I don't need this trademark no more. Nobody cares about FBA anymore. I'm about to move away from it. But then he saw it started picking back up steam. So that's when he started caring about it again. But about the time he started doing that, Michi X had snatched the trademark because he let it lapse. So then he had to fight for it to get it back. So again, he told a truth to tell a lie and then started cracking some more jokes and then said now and made a Muppet of her and said he's coming out with Michi Munchies. Y'all niggas gotta be the stupidest motherfuckers that ever walked the face of the earth. How y'all fall for that? Everybody got a smartphone. If you could watch YouTube, that means you either on a computer or a smartphone, which means Google is available. You can literally type in Foundational Black Americans trademark, and it'll come up and showing that Tariq owns the trademark to it, or he had the trademark to it. You can type in Tariq Nasheed trademark, and you can see that come up, and it'll come up. So y'all niggas so lazy that y'all didn't even bother to even go look it up to see what was he even talking about with a trademark. And another thing, I saw him try to speak low and speak quick and sneak it in like, yeah, I had a trademark, for some clothes and things like that. After saying you can't trademark FB foundational Black American, start talking about, yeah, I got some closing things, trademark some closing things. He snuck that in there real smooth that if you wasn't paying attention, you would have missed it. And again, you cannot, there's no need to trademark a lineage, period. Because if it's a lineage, nobody can own it. Again, like I told niggas this, I've been saying this for years. If it was a lineage or ethnicity, anybody could just use it. Like, I don't need to ask nobody permission to put the word Jamaica on the shirt. Nor do I need to trademark a shirt that got Jamaica on it. Only thing I would ever need to trademark is if I had Jamaica spelled some type of way and I had some special design and I could trademark the design. But the word, no. This is what I'm talking about. Y'all niggas is dumb. This is why Tariq is now entertaining conversations about, well, we might need to change the name from Foundational Black American. Because, oh yeah, I forgot. For all y'all don't remember, Tariq was talking about possibly changing the name from Foundational Black American. Because again, that thing had fell off. It had started to fall off. That's why he let the trademark lapse and he started talking about coming up with a new name and a new concept and all that. Because it started to fall off, but it popped back off. He's like, he at first was like, oh, we don't need to change the name. It's perfect the way it is. Now he's entertaining these conversations about how there might need to be a name change. Or there might be some room in the future for other things. And if we're talking about ourselves in certain aspects, we might need to refer to ourselves in certain ways. Goofy. But I'm in this video here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Oh, I got to also bring this up. I don't even think he even referenced the Hidden History Museum or even talked about that issue because he doesn't have, as far as I know, he didn't even attempt to trademark that at all. So if that's the case, that 99% chance, that's just hers. He can't even probably fight that. He could probably try to fight it in court, say, well, this is my idea, whatever the case may be. But even that's going to be hard because he didn't even attempt. Yeah, he did. He forgot to even trademark Hidden History Museum. The trademark it. So I guess there goes your Hidden History Museum. Or he's gonna be like, yo, family, I got a new name for it. How does this sound? Because he already told y'all not getting that building that he showed you. He said he's thinking for another place to probably buy one in the South, which nigga said that was gonna happen. He might buy a little bum ass building somewhere in Mississippi or Alabama somewhere and call it the Hidden History Museum. But otherwise, yep, remember Tariq was talking about, oh, that building I showed y'all, we not getting that, and we might have to go buy something out of state. He found the art gallery in LA that he was able to buy, but if he couldn't get that art gallery, he definitely would have bought a little shack in Mississippi or Alabama somewhere. I ain't getting no building. I ain't getting no museum. And I'm gonna end this video here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me. Yeah, disgusting, bozo. Let me see. Where's the other video? Yeah, let's go. Let's find that other video. Here we go. Peace. My name is Haven Bullets, and today I got to bring you this video. Look at this. Michi did it, man. She said she was going to take the name, and she did it. The trademark is right now. It's live, and it's working its way through examination. Tariq, you up there for one of the stupidest grifter scammers of all time. You up there. And this just proves, again, that you was never serious about this museum because you made sure to get the trademark. Yes, a mighty one and strong. That's what we always kept saying about why FBA uses the word lineage wrong. That's why I said it's not a serious movement. They can't even use a fifth grade word right. A lineage is a bloodline. It's about having a common ancestor. So that's why I always kept saying, how could there be 40 million FBAs in America? Who's the common ancestor? Genghis Khan? Like they always use the word wrong because Tariq is a grifter. He got it from Yvette Carnell. When Yvette Carnell used to say lineage, she meant it as the slave master was the common ancestor. Because she would always say what? The slave master had two families. He had a white family and he had a black family, which would make us of the same lineage. Because the common ancestor is a white slave-owning man. That's why Yvette Carnell right now is calling herself not only ADOS, but she's calling herself a heritage American. On that Hidden Colors. You made sure. You know why? Because that was going to make money. Buck Breaking, Hidden Colors, 1804, all those documentaries, you was making those DVDs that was going to make money. You made sure to trademark that. Your businesses that you actually intended to do and run for a little bit, and then just say, you know what, when it's over, you at least trademark that, because we know you let the trademark for Ogun Juice and FBA die out because you thought, hey, I done made all the money I was gonna make off of it by selling merch, so who cares? But you didn't even attempt to get this one. That shows me that you never actually planned to do this museum, because we seen how you move in the past, and we see how you moving with this one. And for all you people who gave him this money, let's say this number with the respect that it deserves, $1,188,323. You people who gave that money to him, I know you feel stupid. You've been stupid, but I hope you feel even stupider. This man didn't even bother to trademark this name. He made a whole Dr. Umar
Greetings, family. This is Tariq Nasheed
commercial for it, but he didn't bother to copyright it. I mean, the trademark. I keep saying copyright, trademark. You know what I'm saying. He didn't even bother. That's how lazy he is. Look at this. He did all this commercial. He made sure to get a commercial for it. He made sure to get sketches drawn up for it. Everything, 3D models, all that. But it was magically too lazy to go and trademark it. Why? Because again, like I told people since day one, he never intended to build this museum. And that's why now he's talking about getting a building somewhere in Mississippi or Alabama, and that he might or might not call the Hidden History Museum. And it gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. Oh yeah, Tariq was talking about changing the name of the Hidden History Museum because again he let Michi Ace get the trademark, but he didn't bring that up to his followers that he let that happen. Oh yeah, Ryan Coogler doing a movie with Mansa Musa. That's gonna be fire. I'm watching that day one. Yep, Tariq did start mixing the Dan Calloway nonsense with the FBA nonsense. That is a fact. I have to start deleting the old videos because they are using them to flag my channel. Because the flag that other channel. Because I used a lot of their content in those old videos. That's why. But yeah, let's keep it going. Hitting Bando. Hitting Bodega. Yeah, that definitely was a nice one. Let's keep it going. Let's look at this. Because this is Michi X right here. And look at this. What does this say? Foundational Black Americans. She got Vicky stuff too. Voice Watkins stuff. Her own stuff. Foundational Black Americans. Y'all niggas is own. Y'all got bought and sold like some niggas on a plantation. Michi is your master now. So Tariq went from being y'all niggas master to Michi. And she said if Tariq don't fight her for it, and she get it, she giving it to Yvette Carnell. So Yvette about to be y'all niggas master again. Yeah, my dog's just going crazy. So I'm gonna just end this video here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, tell me what you. Oh yeah, we can get off that. Yeah, we got one more video to watch, and we're gonna call it a night. Yep, this is from Michi. My name is Haven, but listen, today I gotta do this video. This is Michi actually showing some receipts about how she does have these trademarks and how Tariq is lying to his fan base, telling them what she's doing is nothing burgers, and she's gonna expose Tariq because she's claiming that Tariq tried to trademark Foundational Black American again. After he found out she did it, he tried to hurry up and do it again to try to get his back. And she's saying, nope, you can't do it like that. I'm gonna let you hear what she got to say.
Here we go. Again. See that? Different number. Pause it, screenshot it, do whatever you need to do, my nigga. But you can actually go look all this up if you just go to the trademark site. Let's go ahead and do that too. Owner of the mark, once again, Black Royalty LLC. What does that say? Hidden History Museum. I want to show you guys the date because this nigga went and trademarked FBA after the fact because he didn't think I did it. But I want you to know your trademark is late. Mine was first. So what you need to do is, again, wait until they notify you. Make sure you learn how to put the notifications on, nigga, because whoever filed your shit, I'm going to just say we looked at how they filed it and they don't know what the fuck they doing either. But you have to wait now. I beat you to the punch. Let me show you the date. Let's find the date on here. Where is the? Yep.
Tariq hired like some Indian guy to do his trademark who did a sloppy job, who didn't even like put any effort in. I think the first time he hired a Chinese guy the first time who didn't put no effort in and was sloppy. Then he had to go back and hire like some Indian or Arab guy to clean it up.
Date on here. There has got to be a fucking, there is a date on here. Ooh, see that? My birthday month, the 11th day. See that date? See that date? It takes 5 to 7 days, you stupid motherfucker, okay, for your shit to show up in the trademark system. Somebody said, what's your point? The point is I was being told that I lied. He said he went and looked in the system. God, are you dumb? Extinguisher, you've been all over somebody's motherfucking dick talking shit. You've been all in the comment section. You see how these FBAers act? Now he's like, what's my point? What was Tariq's point? He sat here and told you niggas that I was lying and I didn't trademark anything and that I was just selling wolf tickets is what I say. He called it dumbass nothing burgers. I don't have to lie. I never lie. And everything that I've ever said, I stand in what I said. So now that we show the receipts, is Tariq going to, well, wait a minute, I got another receipt because I've made another move.
Oh, well, I'm going to end this video right here because you heard what she said. So, yeah, Tariq got to respond to this. That's another thing. Because I noticed Tariq hasn't been doing shows that much lately. He's been really doing Twitter space, which Michi doesn't have. And a lot of her followers don't. Yeah. That was Tariq. Like, and you see how the FBAers are, like she said, the FBAers are dumb. The FBAers are dumb. The FBAers are dumb. They troll people for what Tariq say, and then when you debunk Tariq, it's what is your point? What's the big deal? Why does it matter? And yes, diasporian, they use the word delineation wrong. They use all their words wrong. That's why nobody knows what they're talking about. No one knows what they're talking about because they use all basic words wrong. And yes, I brought that up at the time, that Tariq couldn't even hire a black person to do this. He talked all this black stuff, but when the rubber hits the road, he goes hire non-black people. That's what he does. Oh, recognize game, you in the building? Hopefully, because again, I'll be trying to contact you through the emails. You be taking too long. If you're really serious, we can have whatever debate you want to have tomorrow. Because I'm tired of this issue. I'm tired of you randomly popping up in the comment section saying I'm ducking you. I already said I was going to debate you before when I started doing live streams. I'm doing live streams now. If you're available tomorrow, I will debate you. Email me. I see you in the chat room. Because I'm about to get off this right now. Because I gotta get up early in the morning. Family, support the channel any way you can. PayPal, Cash App, super thanks, all that good stuff. Much appreciated. So let's get through the list. Milton donated to 10. Thank you for that. Justin March, 10 gifted 10 memberships. Family, Justin March gives you a membership. Thank him and keep it going. Shout out to JB for the $4.99. Shout out to Flavor Genuine for the $1. Shout out to Future Free for the $1.99. Shout out to Justin March for coming through with a $5 again. And on that note, family, we ending it here, and peace.